wrap a few presents, decorate the tree, and watch some football.
Governor Roy Cooper, school districts in North Carolina and Virginia announcing they'll be closed tomorrow. A great time to gas up. Gas prices plummeting 22 cents over the past 3 weeks. The national average now $2.51 for a gallon of regular. That's according to the Lundberg survey, which tracks prices nationwide. This is Fox News.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Ruby Tuesday. Buy a $25 or $50 gift card for those on your shopping list. Get a $15 bonus coupon with every $50 card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Ruby Tuesday. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Get a free medium pizza with every $25 gift card purchase and a free extra large pizza with every $50 gift card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
This is Maria Lamson
and Kayla Ramos,
Vice President and Secretary of the Simon Sanchez High School Senior Class of 2019.
And we're inviting you to support our race to graduation in our annual Run with the Sharks 5K on December 22nd.
Join us at the Simon Sanchez campus for raffle prizes, shirts, and all-around Shark spirit. Go time is at 6 a.m.
Pre-registration is available at the main office and on race day. Call 489-8917 or 8172 for more information.
Thank you for all your support. From Simon Sanchez High School graduating class of 2019.
Paris's chief prosecutor saying nearly 1,000 people are in custody after anti-government protests in the French capital turned violent. The demonstrations began a few weeks ago over proposed fuel tax hikes that the French government has since scrapped. Last night's launch didn't go quite as planned.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We should have ignition. 4, 3. Hold.
Officials with the United Launch Alliance terminating liftoff of a rocket from California's Vandenberg Air Force Base. The controller pausing as flames appeared to lap up the base of the Delta IV Heavy rocket. The mission to send a top-secret U.S. spy satellite into orbit will be rescheduled. A battle in the war on Christmas is playing out at a school in Nebraska.
Jennifer Sinclair has been put on administrative leave from her job as principal of Manchester Elementary School in Elkhorn. The reason? Sinclair banned all outward displays of Christmas from the classrooms. In a memo to staffers, the principal prohibited such things as Santa items, Christmas trees, Christmas carols, and movies, even the elf on the shelf. Her reason for doing so are not entirely clear, but she signed the memo, the unintentional Grinch who stole Christmas from Manchester. Upset staff members look for help from the Liberty Council, a Florida-based First Amendment group. Chairman Matt Staver called the memo the most outrageous example of censoring Christmas symbols he's ever seen. A district spokesperson offered no further comment. Karen McHugh, Fox News.
Heisman Trophy winner Kyle Murray apologizing for anti-gay tweets posted on his account several years ago when he was 14 and 15. The Oklahoma Sooners quarterback tweeting he used a poor choice of words and he did not intend to single out any individual or group. Kyler Murray won college football's top award last night, but he has his mind on professional baseball, signing a contract with the Oakland A's. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Welcome to the annual holiday swap. Harold, you first.
Oh, it's a Subway card.
Wow.
Nice. Sharon?
I'm going to take the Subway card.
Oh, Harold, now you can choose a new gift.
I think I'll just take that Subway card right back.
Okay.
I don't think you can do that, Harold.
Stuff it, Glenn. This is between me and Sharon.
A Subway card is the gotta-have-it gift. With cards from $5 up to any amount, you'll give a gift and get a gift, too. Get a free 40-ounce fountain drink with a $20 load, or get a free regular 6-inch sub with a $30 load on any Subway card. Subway, make it what you want at participating restaurants.
Attention federal employees and annuitants. Open enrollment begins on November 12th through December 10th for federal employees' health insurance plans. With rates 19% lower than last year for Take Care's non-postal high option and access to PICA's Best Clinic FHP Health Center, Take Care's supplemental wellness package provides cash incentives and allows members access to 19 fitness partners, including the largest fully functioning fitness center in Haggadah and Dedido. To learn more, call Take Care at 646-6956. Take Care, our island, your health plan. The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing.
I love you, Daddy.
How's your hearing?
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A pedestrian died early yesterday morning after being struck by a vehicle that fled the scene, according to GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau. This latest death is the 23rd traffic-related fatality on Guam this year. It happened sometime before 3:15 a.m. on Governor Carlos Camacho Road into Mooning when officers from the Tumon Precinct Command responded to a call and found a lifeless man lying in the outer northbound lane near Tunwam Perez Street. Investigators determined that the vehicle that hit him fled the scene, according to Sergeant Tapau. They're now looking for that vehicle and the driver involved. Tapau is asking anyone with information about this hit and run to contact Guam Police by calling the GPD dispatch line at 472-8911, or you can remain anonymous by calling the Crime Stoppers hotline at 477-HELP. Guam Police are investigating an apparent road rage incident on Saturday night that began on San Vitoris Road in Tumon and ended with an attack on a husband and wife at a gas station in Upper Tumon. Guam Police Department spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau confirms that a couple reported being attacked. A reader contributed cell phone video to the Post shows part of what appears to be the first half of the incident in front of Guma Tranquilidad. A Toyota sedan and a Scion are stopped in the street. The two drivers are engaged in an altercation. The Toyota speeds away while two men in the Scion chase after the vehicle on foot. Another video taken by a surveillance camera at the Upper Tumon Mobile captures the second part of the incident. It shows the same two men from the Scion running from the Triple J dealer's lot into the Mobile gas station parking lot. The couple from the Toyota are seen with their backs to the attackers, standing next to a gas station attendant. One of the attackers can be seen firing an object from what appears to be a slingshot at their backs. The attendant and the couple are then seen ducking and running away from the two attackers who chase after them. Sergeant Tapau confirmed that the police responded to the scene, spoke to the couple, reviewed the video. He said an investigation is underway. No further details are available. More news after this.
Holiday Tritons, this is Chelsea Ting, Communications Officer with Bank of Guam and proud alumna of the University of Guam, class of 2015. I made some of the best memories during my time as a Triton, but I also remember that it wasn't easy to pay for everything that I needed to graduate on time. I've committed to giving back through the G is for Giving campaign, which will help student scholarships, programs, and activities, and I encourage you to do the same. To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to supportuog.org by December 31st or call 735-2975 for more information.
Viva UOG! Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagana, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. 6 recent promotions at the Guam Police Department are the subject of a new grievance filed with the Civil Service Commission. A group of officers contend they were passed over for promotions that were not properly announced and were made in violation of the government's merit system. Guam Federation of Teachers represents the officers who filed the grievance.
The GFT says the civil service staff recommended the commission approve a post-audit investigation into the promotions. The officers assert that proper procedures were not followed. They requested that the promotions be rescinded. In question are 5 police officers who were promoted to police officer 2s and 1 officer who was promoted to police lieutenant. This is the second group of promotions at GPD that were the subject of a grievance filed with the Civil Service Commission. As expected, Tony Babauta has been named the Chief of Staff to the incoming administration of Governor-elect Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor-elect Josh Tenorio. Babauta played a key role in the Lou and Josh campaign. He's a former aide to outgoing Washington delegate Madeleine Bordallo and ran against her for the delegate seat in 2016, but lost. Babauta was a Department of Interior Assistant Secretary until his resignation in 2013, following an Inspector General report that concluded he had made inappropriate comments to some employees. The incoming administration yesterday also naming John Jr. Calvo, District Chief of Staff for Delegate Bordallo, as the incoming governor's Deputy Chief of Staff. Bertha Duenas was named Chief Advisor on Fiscal Discipline and Economic Growth. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
Just a note, they have, as you were reading that story, sent a note to all of the media. Ms. Bertha Duenas' title should have read Chief Advisor on Fiscal Discipline, period. A revised press release with the highlighted change is attached and should be out in your inbox here in just a second. 6:13 in the morning. Today, we've got breezy conditions, partly cloudy with isolated showers, winds out of the east. 20 to 25 miles an hour, decreasing this evening. Highs around 88 degrees, and overnight lows should be about 77 degrees. Sunset tonight about 5:54. Sunrise this morning, and yeah, I'm getting that on the Facebook Live. People say it's still dark outside. Yeah, it is kind of dark outside. It's going to be like that until about 6:32. We're in that gray zone right now, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's going to actually keep getting later and later as we go on up into the solstice, which will be on the 22nd. So we still have several days of later and later sunrises. If you're on the Facebook Live, you're looking at the radar right now. Yeah, lots of moisture blowing through. This is all part of some mid and upper level disturbed weather that's flowing on through, and it brought some moisture in with it. And it's expected to hang around through about tomorrow evening. Then it should clear out and make for a nicer end to the week. But for the next, I'd say 24 to 36 hours, we're looking at a pretty good chance of some showers and thunderstorms. As we're looking here, that swirl there is not really at the surface. It's actually at the mid and upper levels, as we were talking about. What's happening here is this is what they call a tropical upper tropospheric trough. It's up in the very high levels of the atmosphere. It's like a surface trough, but it's way up there.
Procurement process?
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely is. And it hasn't...
Say it again.
It hasn't closed off into an upper level low yet, but it's starting to do that. And then as it does, it's going to pull on away. With these upper level features, though, you enhance the opportunity for thunderstorms. And as we can see some of this moisture coming in from the east, it may combine with some of this upper level energy a little bit later this afternoon, and we could get some pretty good little thunderstorms blowing through here as the heating of the day goes on. But nothing too wound up, just a few showers, and it's going to stay windy, and so you can expect that. Anybody who follows me on Facebook saw me post something yesterday about a system called 99C.
Yes.
This is a system that's currently in the Central Pacific, just on the other side of the date line. But the computer models are starting to show a bit of a consensus that something is going to develop and move in our general direction. There are no direct forecasts right now, and if you were to call the Weather Service, they'd be like, what? And actually, they talked about it a little bit.
But if you go to Windy, which I did, because Windy is using some of the same models that you're looking at. I went to the Windy, and they're making predictions for, I guess, I can't remember, it was like Monday morning, when there would be a low-pressure system in the area. And that's way, way out of the forecast zone. And anything could happen. But it was interesting that Windy had already projected about 7 or 8 days out that there was going to be something in the neighborhood. At the time I was looking at it, was way north of Guam. But we'll see what happens as it develops.
And this was the thing I was talking to you about last week. And what we're getting now is at least the models are starting to come into a consensus across several platforms that something's going to develop. But exactly what and exactly when is still up in the air. We'll know more probably Wednesday or Thursday.
I got you. It's 6:16 in the morning. That's news and plenty of weather right here on The Point, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where some put branches, where others put branches. They place roots. Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at King's Restaurant. It's the holidays, and they've still got the crazy holiday menu that is out there featuring some new breakfast favorites. I hope some of these things actually stay in the breakfast menu like forever. The breakfast burger, American cheese on a King's burger patty. There's bacon, hash brown, fried egg on top of, and check out how they do this, Hawaiian sweet bread French toast. Now, that's an interesting way to get your burger, isn't it? 617, find it for breakfast at King's.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
It's 6:17 in the morning. Portions of the program also brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. GRMC, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Well, how the heck is everybody? How did you do over the weekend? Was it thrilling and what's the word I'm looking for? Was there adventures? Did you have this? And somebody was talking about. I asked her. I said, "How was your day?" She said, "It was all right." I said, "Just all right?" And she said, "No, it's just all right." I said, "Did you have any adventures?" She said, "What do you mean adventures?" And it occurs to me that I think at least once a day you should have this feeling like, "Oh, I wish I had a GoPro on me." You know, at least once a day, you should have that feeling of, I don't know, falling or flying or a combination of both. And she said, yeah, I'll work on that. And I've decided, I think maybe that's one of the things that I'd like to work on, too, at some point. At any rate, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show. I'm Ray Gibson, host of the program here on 93.3 The Point, and joined by a couple of incredible broadcast professionals. As you know, we've got Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post has taken us through all of this morning's incredible batch of headlines. And apparently there were a lot of people that had adventures over the weekend down in Tumon, I guess.
Unwelcome adventures, yeah.
Guma Tranquilidad, and that took everybody up to the Mobile gas station over by. I mean, just right down the street from where we are is where all of that nonsense went down.
Captured on video.
Wow, and that got me thinking about a couple of things, and one of them was how would I have handled that? Knowing what I know and the training that I have had and the things that I have at ready reach. How would I have handled that? And I'll explain that a little bit more. Of course, Michael Knight in the studio looking at the weather maps and answering the phone when you call it 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. If you've got WhatsApp videos, and I'd love to get those. Some of the in fact, while Kevin Kerrigan was reading the story on Facebook Live this morning, I was actually playing the video that matched that set of circumstances that took place on, what was that, Saturday night? I guess it was. Saturday? Okay,
night,
yeah. And I got that at the WhatsApp, the radio station WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp is 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Here's what I want you to do. If you get a chance, just go ahead and add that as a contact. The Point WhatsApp on your phone. You don't have to send me something today. And if you do, make it naughty. But 988-5874, but just have it handy. That way, when somebody does send you something in your WhatsApp, you go, hey, this looks like exactly the kind of thing that Ray and Kevin and Mike would like to play around with on the radio. on the morning show at the Point, and just send it up. You never know when it's going to happen, so go ahead and make the contact now. Again, The Point WhatsApp 988-5874. While I'm thinking about social media, let me say good morning to everybody in the socials.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Looking at the numbers, I think everybody slept in this morning. What's going on? Nick Perlowski's out there. I see Mark Cruz saying, good morning, Ray Man. Nice to see him. Thanks for remembering that particular nickname. The Mark Mandiola's on. Eric So. Hey, buddy. And Lynn Vince Borja Polino. Eric, were you actually in the tour of Guam yesterday, or were you just kind of lurking around with your camera? Some great photographs and some great video of the tour of Guam that took place over the weekend. So we'll talk with another Eric a little bit later on about that. Lynn Vince, Borja Polino, and thanks very much. It's always great to see you and your sister. They've got this gig over at Roots in Mighty on Saturday night. The band just sounded, I don't think they've ever sounded as good as they sounded last Saturday night. Incredible tunes, nice room, nice people. Mark Mendiola wishing us Manana Sidzuas. Ismael is there. Charlene Marchachot is online this morning. And who else is? Rico Blancaflor saying, good morning, good Monday morning, Guam. Lynn Tidinko, good morning, sweetheart. John Ray Taitano says, good morning. Where'd the weekend go? To which I responded, look under the couch. Big sister Shelly Gibson there, still kind of dark out. What's going to do that for a little bit, because it's that time of year. Open your eyes, says Ismael. It's a beautiful morning. Daryl Taggart, he's got a message. Renee and Pat Taitagui. The congratulations. Governor and Lieutenant Governor Lou and Josh sent out a note that says that Tony Babauta is now their chief of staff, and he's going to be the guy that's going to be running Adelup. And I think that's you know what? Congratulations to you, Tony. I don't know if there's anybody that I would feel more comfortable in that position. I'm looking to see what it is that you guys are going to be up to, and start seeing some of the other appointments. John Jr. Calvo, not that one. The other one is his deputy. And I tell you what, I was excited to hear about Bertha Duenas moving back into a position where she's going to be of some value to the taxpayers around here. She's going to be in charge of fiscal discipline, and I've asked Antonio if I might be able to hook up with her, get me a telephone number, because I'd like to talk to her about the kind of fiscal discipline or indiscipline, if you will, that we have seen recently, and how that's going to change in this new administration. So we'll see what's going on. Daryl Taggarty, top of the morning to you and yours, Ray. Big Sister Shelley says, yes, very pretty out there with Christmas tree lights and the backyard view. Carl Facuda, Bert Duarte, Anita Muffness has got her Valentine's eyes on. Who else is watching this morning? Deborah Wise, and thanks so much for saying so. Good morning, Ray and Kevin and Michael. So nice to share the morning with you. The feelings are mutual. Jules, Elmer, Juanita Machi, Jennifer, Louise Dula, cousin Tommy Barcinas, Adonis Mendiola. Who's writing here? Dennis J. Santos Tomas says, it's always Merry Christmas in December or Feliz Nochebuena in Chamorro. Thanks for saying so. Melissa Akimoto's there. Greg Massey, Bob Lizama, Lillian Cruz. And John Marich. Good morning. Nice to see you there. Oh, Jeff Marchessault is it? I have both of the Marchessaults on here this morning. Who's getting the kids ready for school if you guys are up and at 'em? 6:25 in the morning, and exactly the guy I thought of as I was looking at some of the video footage of the nonsense that was taking place, a road rage incident that could have gone and might have gone in a complete other direction, depending on who was there and what they may have had to protect themselves. Good morning, Sharky. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good, Ray. I just wanted to tell you, the first thing they teach you in firearms training is to first try to avoid the conflict. So I hope everybody keeps that in mind. Even if we do get a stand your ground law passed, hopefully everybody will, try to use that way first, because otherwise you'd be like Sagdahl, where you regretted what you did and you didn't think properly and the law didn't protect you. So, I'm especially dangerous because I have specialized training in martial arts. So if I even hit somebody, I get arrested for assault with deadly weapons. But firearms is a whole different ballgame. But by all means, if it's life and death, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And it looked pretty scary there for a little bit. So
well, it looked like one of the. It sounded like, and we can't play the audio because, as you can imagine, at a certain point in the audio that was attached to the video by Guma Tranquilidad, it sounded like somebody got run over. It sounded like that, so I was surprised that there was another incident. And then I watched the other video, and so we've got a road rage incident. That's something that we're going to need to talk about a little bit because that's where this all started. Some kind of a road rage incident, and from my view, it looked like the guy was looking for something in his car, and the other dude came over and kicked the car door on him. And then everybody gets ticked off, and there's driving around. But at some point, the guys that went on and became the assailants now at the mobile, coming out with a slingshot and rebar, apparently. And if it was me, and if it was you, and you and I were capable of defending ourselves with lethal force, you got to ask that question: would you have done it?
Well, did you see the other video where the wife gave an account of what happened? And she said that the first one was just a shouting match down in front of the Royal Orchids, and the second one is one where they stopped at the traffic light, and that's the video you're talking about. But it already had been escalated then, and the guy got out of his car, so the husband got out of his car, and so Mr. Jones apparently assaulted the guy back after he threw a punch at him. And so, you know, that right there, by the definition of an altercation, is fair play because they both engaged. If he had tried to get away or stayed in his vehicle, it would have been a whole different story. But the wife gave an account where one of the guys tried to stop them, and that's when he got bumped by the car. He got run over, basically. But he didn't completely run over him. And so the other guys, apparently, because that happened, wanted to retaliate. So if you look at the way that the law protects you and how the incidents occurred, it was escalated several times. And the law is very cautious about giving you a sentence or whatever they do based on escalation. You know, how did he try to avoid it? Did he try to avoid it numerous times? Did he keep engaging? You know, stuff like that. So,
well, yeah, but you know, we're talking about castle doctrines and stand your grounds, and at some point they felt that I felt maybe they could have stood their ground.
Oh yes, of course, because when it escalated to a weapon like a slingshot, or crowbar, that's exactly right. Then it becomes a self-defense issue with a firearm. But the first intent is you have to try to get away from it.
Yeah, step off the line, as they say. Look, I see you're in a really, really bad mood. Tonight, I'm not the guy to be in a bad mood with because I've got a pistola right over here, so I'm going to step off the line so that nobody gets hurt after this. And it looks like that one vehicle tried to get out of the way and vamoose. But as they were followed to the mobile, that in my mind is the defining moment. You came after me now, and you've got a slingshot, and you were threatening me and my wife and my property. So guess what?
Yeah, if it came down to that, and that was a judgment point, you'd be absolutely right. But I'd have to question whether when they were in traffic, you know, why did he get out of the vehicle?
Right.
He engaged. So, I mean, I probably wouldn't have engaged.
I'm gonna go. You know what I'm gonna do, Shark? I'm gonna find me a lawyer. I'm gonna find me a lawyer in a couple of minutes. But it is interesting. You know, there is a bill out there. I believe it's 149-34, which was introduced by Joe S. St. Augustine and Dennis Rodriguez Jr. Back last year, and it is a stand your ground measure that would have been attached to the Castle Doctrine that we already have.
Yes, and that needs to go all the way through. So,
well, you know what? I don't know if it's had a public hearing. I'm looking to see if I don't. It was introduced, January the 11th of 2017, but under date referred, committee referred, public hearing date, it's all blank there. So it's obviously too late for anything to happen. Yeah, it's too late for anything to happen for the 34th.
Yeah, we decided to wait because we wanted to educate the public first before that got that far. Because a bunch of the guys that were in charge, we all recommended that they asked Joe to hold back. And our intent was to pass by the end of this year. It didn't happen, but We need to take a look at that. That's with all the.
I've got it printed out, and we'll talk about it. Sharky, I got to run.
Sure. Okay, I got to run too. I'm at the airport. So I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Take care. Always nice to have some of that conversation. We'll see if we can draw it a little bit more. If the idea to hold off on this measure was to get people educated on the stand your ground legislation, now's a good time. Now's a good time because there are going to be people that talk about it. Castle Doctrine does apply in your home, in your workplace, and in your automobile. But at what point do you say? Do you have to say, or are you capable of saying, I need to draw a line in the sand? It's here and now, and now or never. So that's what that measure is, and we'll talk about it. Like I said, get some lawyers on the line here in a couple of minutes. 6:32, and is it time for headlines already? Yeah, I think it is. Headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, 2 lawsuits have been filed against the U.S. Social Security Administration, challenging the U.S. government's policy of refusing to provide supplemental security income disability benefits to American citizens living on Guam. The lawsuits were filed on behalf of twin sisters Katrina Schaller of Barragata, Guam, and Leslie Schaller of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. The sisters are each 48 years old. They live with myotonic dystrophia, a debilitating degenerative genetic disorder that severely inhibits muscle function. The SSI law limits benefits to American citizens who live in the United States, which is defined in the law as being the 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the CNMI, but not Guam. Attorney Rodney Jacob of Calvo, Fisher & Jacob filed the Guam lawsuit. He said the law is contrary to common sense, human decency, and sound public policy to deny public benefits to Katrina and all other American citizens with debilities living on Guam. Jacob argues that the law violates the Constitution's guarantee of equal protection. The lawsuit seeks a declaration from the court that the SSI law is discriminatory and asks for an injunction against the Social Security Administration, ordering that agency to provide the same benefits to Guam residents that it provides to all other American citizens. 21-year-old Jared John Santos is behind bars accused of shooting a man in Agate early Friday morning. Santos reportedly got into a verbal altercation with another man while fueling his vehicle at a gas station in Agate around midnight Friday. Both vehicles left after the brief verbal altercation, but as the victim was driving down Route 2, so when Santos' vehicle approached on the left side of his car, and according to court documents, Santos, who was seated in the passenger side, pointed a silver handgun at the victim and shot him, resulting in a gunshot wound to the victim's stomach. The victim's condition not known. Santos was arrested and charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. In other crime news, 26-year-old Harry George Cook Cruz facing drug possession allegations after police found methamphetamine, morphine, and other drugs in his vehicle. According to the magistrate report, police responded to a complaint from a woman who reported that a small leather backpack had been stolen from the back seat of her car. A witness claims to have seen a suspect, later identified as Cruz, hiding something under his shirt and jumping into a truck that sped off. Police later spotted the truck, stopped the vehicle, questioned Cruz. According to the report, Cruz admitted taking the victim's handbag because she previously had stolen something from him. He also admitted to having taken Xanax that day. Cruz was charged with possession of a Schedule II drug, theft, and driving while impaired. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Studio time, 6:35. iConnect time is 6:35. And what do I need to tell you about with my friends over at iConnect? They got this groovy giveaway going on, kids. iConnect giving away a vacation for two to Manila with a stay at the new Holiday Inn Express in its Connect and Win giveaway. Sign up for a 12-month plan and you're automatically entered. 'Tis the season. That bit never gets old. For winning with iConnect, go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
Chili's 3 for Me menu just got bigger. We're giving you more choices for the same great price. For just $15, you can get a beverage, salad, and an entree. First, choose from a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Then enjoy a house salad and select your choice of a mouth-watering entree, like our half-rack ribs, Cajun chicken pasta, old-timer burger, personal chicken fajitas, or the flavorful margarita flatbread. So hurry in today and enjoy our Chili's 3 for Me menu for just $15. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Is it traffic here? Yeah, I've got southbound traffic. Marine Corps Drive is the only place where the gizmo seems to be pinging right now. Oh, wait a second. Of course, as I say that, it pings off somewhere else. But the traffic gizmo telling me that things moving, beginning to build up on Marine Corps Drive southbound between about where we are here at the radio station to the Kmart intersection, and traffic getting a little bit busy up at the intersection of the Ocean Vista 76 up at the end of Route 10 Alpha. I got a line of traffic. Looks like it's going slow up northbound Marine Corps Drive for people trying to get into Anderson Air Force Base. Don't see anything happening in the downtown Agutnia area in front of Big Navy or Navy Hospital at this time. Just a quick look at what's happening on Route 10. Nothing major there. Looks like we've got a little bit of a slowdown where you'd expect it to be in front of the light at the intersection of 4 and 10. But that's all I got to report to you. Now 6:37. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumama. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Oh, it's nice. That's nice. Patty Perry on Facebook Messenger send me a note, says looking good with the beard. Thanks very much. My phone doesn't like it. The iPhone doesn't like it. I've got this XS, this Apple, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can unlock it. You know, you press the button and you can punch in a code like you can on just about every Apple device, and it will open up and say, "What do you want to do?" Right? And but it also does facial recognition. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But when I set up this phone, I wasn't rocking a beard yet. And so it goes a little bit slow on the facial recognition. And if I'm wearing glasses, it just completely throws the whole thing off, and it automatically shuts down and quivers and cowers for a little bit. 6:38 in the morning. And that, obviously, first thing that Sharky wanted to talk about is the crazy road rage incident that in Tumon, maybe you saw it, that turned into another kind of incident that could have gotten deadly. And somebody had asked my opinion about that in a WhatsApp chat, and my remark was Castle Doctrine. If somebody comes up on you, rolls up and it seems to threaten you, then you may use force to defend yourself. And then there's another version, another conversation, kind of an extension of that, called stand your ground justification. And I've yet to see a better description than the one that was actually put into the paperwork that was introduced last summer, by Joe S. and Dennis Rodriguez. Be it enacted. Section 1, we got to do the legislative findings, right? The legislature finds that the Castle Doctrine, which is a common law doctrine, that a person is justified in using force in the defense of his castle, or as one might say in modern times, in using defensive force in the home, in the workplace, or the vehicle. Legislature finds that that can be expanded to include justifying defensive force when a person is in reasonable fear of imminent death, serious bodily harm, or serious felony, and is in a place where he or she has a right to be. So not just your home, not just your workplace, not just your car, any other place where you've got a right to be in. Many states have enacted various forms of stand-your-ground laws with a variety of ways of allowing defendants or prospective defendants immunities, and a variety of ways of allowing defensive force in different situations. The extension of stand your ground contained in this legislation allows a person to defend themselves using defensive force, not only when at home in the workplace or in an occupied vehicle, but also when the person is in a place where he or she has a right to be. Walking at the beach or in other public or private places where the victim or potential victim may lawfully be. While the current castle doctrine does not require a person to retreat before using defensive force, this extension of stand your ground provisions removes the requirement of retreating before using defensive force when a victim or potential victim is outside the castle. I think it gets to be fairly clear in that when you do the reading like that. You're not in your office, you're not in your car, you're not at your home. There is no obligation for you to retreat in those circumstances under the Stand Your Ground law. Now, how would that have applied over the weekend? Like I said, we'll talk with a couple of guys and see what's going on. 19 away from the top of the hour. Wasn't all doom and gloom over the weekend. I think Dr. Tom Shea found his way back home. Good morning, Doc.
Hi, good morning, Ray.
How was the time with the baby? Was that fun?
Always. Too short, though. It's too short.
Wouldn't it be great if there was someplace in the middle that you could meet, so you didn't have to fly all the way to Honolulu to go get grandpa time?
No, actually, all the way to L.A.
Oh, L.A.?
Oh, my God, yeah. It took me a whole day to fly there.
Aye. Well, it's worth it when you get there, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. All I want for Christmas is my baby Maui.
and that's another good friend of mine just got his first grandchild as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm ever going to see him again. he just that's all he wants to do is hang out with the baby and his daughter.
Yeah, nothing else matters, you know. So it's like when you're a grandparent first time, it's like having your own baby over again, you know. Mm-hmm. It's a different feeling, except that you have to worry about your daughters now, and then you have to worry about your grandkids. So it's like double worry, you know.
Well, and all of the kids and the grandkids that you're working with now. Listen, I know it's a busy day for you. You and I are you're gonna be seeing somebody else that I know a little bit later on in the morning. But I did want to give you an opportunity to make a plug for the Oh What a Night show that's coming up.
Oh yeah, it's a tribute musical to the Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons of the Jersey Boys. You know, the songs are great. The original singers from the very first time they came back are returning.
Mm-hmm.
Rob and Nick is coming back. Paul's coming back. So, you know, Mr. Bullard is coming back. So one of the best singers are coming back to town here. So it's going to be a wonderful. This is probably the last time they're going to be returning to Guam, I think. So I think if you don't have a ticket or table, you better call Pram. I think we have 8 tables left for December 20th show. And then for the 19th, I think the concert ticket is still available. But, you know, it's at the Hyatt Regency, so every seat is actually a good seat. And the food's great. Food for the December 20th is fantastic.
So, now, how many times have they already been here?
I think they've been here twice.
Okay.
Every 2 years, we try to bring them back because, you know, the music is classic. Sherry, Oh What a Night, Walk Like a Man. You know, these are classic tunes that never dies, you know.
No, and yeah, and everybody knows all the words to the song, and a great opportunity to get together during the holidays for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then we're going to have intermission this time. We learned from the past that people they like raffle prizes. So intermission. There will be intermission so we can get raffles so nobody fighting over things, you know. So we try to do things a little better and more efficient. Yeah. But anyway, your sister Shelley, she's calling me to put pressure on you to take her to the show.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of yes. Thank you very much. Twist my arm right here on the radio. Let me see what we can work on with the other siblings. Her birthday is coming up on the 14th, and I understand that she wants this is what she wants for her birthday. So we'll see what we can all of us collectively in our family do to get things going. Hey, just a thought on something. There's a story. That was brewing around the news in the last couple of days. Apparently, there's overzealous, I think is how she put it. She categorized it. Overzealous collections at Guam Memorial Hospital, where they would not release the birth documents at GMH until the bills were paid. And Benita Manzanita said, no, that's not true. They're just being overzealous. But it linked into a process that I thought could easily be handled if there was a public health vital records desk at GMH.
Well, you know, it doesn't. All the public records we streamline the process. For example, the birth certificates, it doesn't even require my signature anymore. Mm-hmm. It automatically goes to file and go directly to public health. So the patients actually get their birth certificate, the real birth certificates, from public health, not from GMH.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
So they've got the nice artwork one that you get at Guam Memorial Hospital. You take that.
That one I signed. That's a souvenir that they get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's good, but that's not official. The official one is really at public health. So if you want your birth certificate, don't go to GMH. You go to public health to get it at Vital Records.
Well, the point that I'm making, though, is it's an additional step, and there's probably enough baby business and, frankly, dying business over at Guam Memorial Hospital that, you know, we just put a desk for Vital Records at GMH. Wouldn't that make it easier so you can have your birth certificate, your souvenir birth certificate, and your actual birth certificate, and you can line up for all of the different programs while you're still at GMH, and GMH can get paid?
Well, you got that idea. That's true, because you need Vital Records is not just birth, but death as well. You can get a death certificate.
Yeah.
You can do all kinds of stuff there. So yeah, it makes some sense to place one person up there. In fact, if you're going to do that, I mean, you might as well put MIP Medicaid office right there and there.
Exactly. For exactly that reason. Here's your birth certificate, and these are the people over here that you need to talk to about getting federal funds that might help us pay Guam Memorial Hospital. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of people that have the babies, get the souvenir certificate, and then may never get an official one, and certainly never sign up for the programs that can help pay the bills at GMH.
That's right. And you know what? What better way to do this? Renovate labor and delivery, because the whole first floor is open for the volunteers and have more office space that's open. So, you know, I think Lou and Josh has first 100 days to get this done. So let's see what they can do, huh? I have faith in Lou and Josh. It's a new administration. The past administration had their chance, couldn't do it. So I'm hoping that Lou and Josh can make this happen, you know?
Well, we just got to figure out who's going to be put into place over at Guam Memorial Hospital in those first 100 days. Where I was.
Ray, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they put in. The ultimate responsibility falls on the governor.
So you we just find some random guy on the street and say, okay, you're in charge of Guam Memorial Hospital. We'll take orders from the board and the governor's office, and try not to screw it up too badly. 6:48 in the morning. Speaking of the maternity ward, back in November they shut down the maternity and peds over at GRMC. Has that affected business over at GMH?
Well, it doesn't. I don't know about the business, but it puts us GMH back into normalcy, because once the GRMC opened, it took away quite a bit of patients. But the patient it took away was actually the indigent patient, which is the patient that was no pays or self-pay. So I think it was a financial decision for GRMC to shut it down.
Certainly was.
I actually wrote to them and said, don't shut it down, keep it open, because you got a tax break. What are you doing turning away indigent patients? Tax breaks is supposed to help GMH to relieve this pressure. But be as it may, they admitted that GMH is the best place to have their babies and for women's health, and I can't disagree with that. So we'll take the patients, and we'll make sure that they get good care at GMH, but we do need to renovate, because we're outdated care, and for mom and babies, you know, that's so important, because that's your next generation, Ray.
I agree.
Next governor that's born at GMH.
Next governor will be born at GMH. Kind of like the way that sounds. 10 away from the top of the hour. Doc, I'm going to let you run. I wanted to get your thoughts on. Have you seen more equipment show up at GMH?
No. And I think GRMC is supposed to donate some equipment. I haven't seen it.
I thought so.
I think they want some financial credit or something for the equipment. I said, that's not a donation. A donation is donation. Listen, Ray, I donated a Bovie, which is for the surgical ward. I didn't ask for anything in return. I donated it to GMH operating because we needed it. So it's up there. So if you're going to donate something, do so out of the goodness of your heart and not asking for anything in return. That's the true donation.
I hear
and
that.
Holiday spirit, too.
I hear that. Well, Doc, listen, it's always fun talking with you. And like I said, I'll send a note to the siblings into WhatsApp and find out if we can get some chairs at what we'll refer to as the Gibson table.
It's so cheap. Oh, my God. I think for dinner is $125 a ticket. We don't make much from it. You know, the dinner itself is so expensive, and you get to pay the talent and the setup. It's a great show. It's cheaper than a fundraiser for political fundraisers, by the way. So, okay.
No, I don't know which fundraisers you're going to. All the ones that I went to are $10 over at the venue, and there's plenty of free food.
They give me these $1,000 a ticket type of fundraisers. You know, for a table, it's like 10 grand. I was like, wow, geez.
Yeah, that's you have the letters MD. You have the letters MD at the end of your name. I don't have.
It doesn't matter.
Like I said, I go to the cheaper one, $6.50. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Have a fantastic rest of the day.
Always great talking to you, Ray. Always great.
All right, Merry Christmas to you, Dr. Tom Shea with me this morning. That's right, Dr. Tom Shea. There, he's the guy that's going to get the invitations to the $500 a plate fundraisers, political or otherwise. I don't have the MD at the end of my name or JD or anything like that. I have CBT. And on certain business cards that I have, I actually have I have a certificate called a Certified Broadcast Technologist, which is just short of chief engineer material there, and that's the only certification that I've got and that I maintain, and that gets me invited to the $10 a head all-you-can-eat buffet, and yes, there's going to be raffles, and it's usually detergent and toilet paper, but you know what? Nothing wrong with winning free detergent and toilet paper.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know. Toilet paper? Come on, man.
Yeah, you know it's going to get used.
Oh, absolutely.
At some point, somebody is going to need some of that kind of thing. Dion Shinahara is online this morning. Doris Mendiola. I see Ming O'Ree, May Relay. Brad Hewitt is online talking about stuff. I got Lady D saying, good morning, everybody. And somebody already put a heart on that was Ismael. Thought that was worthy of a Valentine-like. Nice. Jose Martinez, Bob and Connie Bartonico, Jeff Pleadwell, Greg Karabrock, Francis Salas, and Kate Garcia Baltazar, Chuck Sanchez also chiming in on the Facebook Live. Great to have everybody here this morning and running around with all of the socials and the social media that we got. And it was yesterday or so that we all got treated to incredible video. I'm going to play some of this video for you and try to do it in the chronological order that we've received it in. Unfortunately, and because it has not been sanitized, the audio has not been sanitized for broadcast. I won't be able to play that part, but I will be able to play the video. And as usual, it's video shot in an up and down format, so it's not going to be great. It ain't going to be the news, but it'll give you an idea on Facebook Live exactly what the situation was on Saturday night. And there's the video queuing up, and you can see, golly, I wish I could amplify that. But you can see there's a guy out of the car, another fella huffing and puffing, heading towards the automobile. Car pulls into reverse to get away. I need to get away, and the guy begins to give chase. Now, the version of this that I have, and like I said, I wish I could play the audio for you, because it clearly sounds like somebody got run over or hit by that car that you see speeding away now, going up the hill and getting away from here. Yeah. Now, maybe at any other time, that would have been cause for, okay, this is over. Yeah. We're finished. You came after me. I went after you. You come after me again, and I hit you with my car. I'm leaving now. Bye-bye. As I said, that's what I'm referring to as stepping off the line. At that point, there was an opportunity to break away, cease hostilities.
Yeah, it's all fun and games till you start using automobiles as weapons. So.
Well, I mean, if that's how you're going to get away, that's how you're going to get away. I mean, if that becomes your means of defending yourself from somebody outside, and there were videos that my buddy Willie sent me, videos of Paris. Have you seen what's going on in Paris? They shut the city down. Yeah. And people are going, well, it's just, a bunch of people complaining about an increase in the price of gas and carbon taxes and all of that. You have to remember, the term mob rule comes from France. That's where they invented it. Marie Antoinette, we're going to drag the royals out of their castles and their palaces and cut their heads off.
Let them eat cake.
Exactly. That's where that comes from. So when people start en masse out in the streets of Paris, yeah, you better believe the police start paying attention to what's going on there. 6:55. So that was the first of the videos, and apparently the couple in the car find themselves at a gas station, where they were found now by the dudes that were giving chase. And again, I wish I had a cleaner copy of this. This is now a video of a video. that was shot, and you can see the guys, depending on, it's viral, so you probably have it on your phone, or somebody can send it to you so you can see it as well. Oh, I didn't make it so that you can see it. I'm sorry. Let me just turn that back here and put that back on the screen. And again, apologize for the video and the format and all of it. But you've got the couple standing around the car with an attendant. Here comes the two jugheads with the slingshots. And everybody starts running away because there's somebody getting slingshotty around you, and they run into the store and they give chase some more. Like I said, there was an opportunity to turn this off. There was an opportunity to step off the line, and the jugheads that followed them to the gas station at that point, in my mind, deserve whatever happened to them next. So if there was someone there, if it was the guy who had already used his vehicle as a weapon, tried to get away from the situation, and these guys followed them with these slingshotty things, at that point it would have been, oh, you brought a slingshot to a gunfight. If he had been so equipped. And I think based on Castle Doctrine and based on even the beginnings of Stand Your Ground, I don't know that there's a judge that would have convicted him if he'd have put a cap in somebody's. Well, you're not allowed to say it that way on the radio. But
well, you can once.
Well, yeah, on your last show you can say that. So we need to do something about all of this.
Well, the other thing is the whole thing started over road rage. Road rage on Guam? Really? Come on, guys. It's just not worth it.
Well, that's, you know what, because we're a couple of old farts in our 50s, almost 60s.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not speaking for Kevin. Kevin, as everybody knows, is 35 years old.
And holding.
There's...
For years.
When I was that age... there were times where I'd get road ragey, and you get behind a car. Is this a good current example? The old naval station, again, yeah, right, and so now it's the Teedson area. You get the whole road, got brand new blacktop there, and it's 35 miles an hour until it gets to 25 miles an hour, and there's still people that drive through there like there's a blue van, a blue security van, going to pull them over if they're going anything over 20 miles an hour. And you get behind these guys, and I'm thinking, I need to get to work, I need to get to the airport, I need to get over there, and you're in front of me, and I hate it when you're in front of me because I can't go faster on this otherwise go ahead and go fast roadway. And do I get a little bit testy? Do I get a little white knuckle? You can hear it in my voice now, can't you? Yes, hurry up! There's cars behind you.
Yeah, and I think it's only natural.
So,
I mean, myself.
But if I honk the horn, is that on the front? If I honk the horn at the guy, is that in the front? In the Saturday edition of the Guam Daily Post is a letter to the editor by a lady named Amanda Liu after hearing my peer, who just got her license, cry to me about being flipped off and honked at on the road. I realized that this happens too often and has become a problem. I was honked at many times just because I wasn't going as fast as other drivers do, or I, quote, cut in front of them on a lane. To me and many others, being honked at is a terrible feeling, a mixture of self-blame and embarrassment. And then she goes on to tell a story about getting flipped off. She was in between, right? Some guy that was taking a long time in the parking lot, traffic backing up behind her. He start honking at her, and she's not the one caused the problem. So she taps the horn in the friendliest way that you can tap a horn. Beep, 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 beep. Excuse me, somebody here. Beep, beep. And the driver of the car in front of her turns around, flips her off. What the heck? What is that? What is happening to with the sense of community? Does it start with just lousy drivers, and then you've got the whole disrespect for law and order around here? I think things are beginning to combine and get into a tough patch here that we maybe should talk about and work on during the holidays when we all pretend to love each other. 7 o'clock in the morning, the radio station is KUSG. I've gotten you more on that in the coming hour. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, right after the news. We're pushing the rest of the programming to make room for him and his inaugural discussion with Ray Gibson on 93.3 The Point. Stand by now for Fox News.
A pre-winter storm socking the South. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. Authorities responding to hundreds of crashes as a winter storm pounds the southeast. North Carolina bracing for the worst of it with a foot or more in some areas.
Icy and sleet conditions out there on the roads. Not only that, though, we're talking about some 200,000 plus people without power here in North Carolina, 85,000 people without power in South Carolina. Duke Energy, the largest power supplier here in the state, has some 1,500 trucks from outside the state, people that have come in to help to put some power on. You know, this state has gone through a lot this year. 2 hurricanes, tornadoes, mudslides, and so really they're urging people to just stay home so they can clean up.
Fox's Brian Yennis in Asheville. Some lawmakers floating impeachment for President Trump after the latest court filings from special counsel Robert Mueller.
The team dropped memos on 3 of its key witnesses, Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, and Michael Cohen. On Friday, Mueller released a sentencing recommendation for Cohen, who's twice pled guilty during the course of the investigation so far. Then later on Friday evening, another memo alleging Paul Manafort, the former Trump campaign chairman, violated his plea agreement. While most of the Democratic leadership certain these developments all spell the beginning of the end for President Trump, not all are convinced.
Fox's Jillian Turner in Washington, the president repeatedly insisting there was no collusion between his campaign and Russia. Wisconsin's Republican state legislature approving a set of bills that would strip power from the incoming Democratic governor.
If Scott Walker had won this election, and he did not, I did, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this today. We wouldn't be talking. Scott Walker wouldn't be sitting here talking about, geez, they're trying to balance the power here.
Governor-elect Tony Evers on NBC's Meet the Press saying he may take legal action to block the measures. This is Fox News.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who have already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
A big drop at the gas pumps.
Gasoline prices are down 22 cents in the past 3 weeks. Regular grade is now $2.51, and the price has been crashing 40 cents per gallon over 3 months, following crude oil prices down.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg tracks prices nationwide. President Trump saying he'll name a new point man in the coming days after announcing Chief of Staff John Kelly will step down at the end of the year.
He served with honor and dignity while he's been at the White House, and before that when he was in uniform. We wish him well. The tradition of the Trump administration over the 2 years I've been there is that people come and go. Every time we get a change, the change is good. It doesn't mean it's for the better. And I wish the chief well, and we're going to just move forward the way we've been moving forward.
White House trade advisor Pete Navarro on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures. It's Christmas time at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and we get an insider's view on a TV special.
Christmas season is officially here, and with it, each year, we get to visit the White House with the help of HGTV. For this first family's second holiday season at the White House, the designs are again from First Lady Melania, with this year's theme, American Treasures. The trailer posted on Instagram shows Melania Trump strolling through corridors lined with lush red Christmas trees. The Blue Room with its official White House Christmas tree, an 18-foot Fraser fir from Newland, North Carolina, and the State Dining Room featuring 29 trees decked in more than 14,000 red ornaments and the First Lady's signature touch of wreaths on exterior windows. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
It's all in a name. A woman has gone viral for reportedly canceling her baby shower because her friends and family did not support the name she chose for her unborn son. Baby Squire Sebastian Senator already has something to cry about. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Craft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K. Take it easy.
Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Buy one, get one free. Stop by Circle K today and satisfy your heart's desires. Available at all Circle K stores, excluding Barragata, Airport, and Campers locations. Applies only to the 3.38-ounce servings.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from King's Restaurants. Give a gift they are sure to love. Delicious food and friendly fun at King's. Get a coupon for a free single crate with every $20 gift card purchase. Extra holiday happiness from King's Restaurants. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam, Ruby Tuesday, and King's Restaurants. Receive special offers with every purchase for extra holiday happiness. See stores for details and have fun this season from all of us at the GFS Group.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho 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 without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Reverend Arthur Gibson of the Evangelical Christian Academy in Chalan Pago has a stake in the outcome of the federal lawsuit filed against the Chamorro Land Trust Act. The Department of Justice filed the lawsuit against Gov Guam in September of last year, contending that the Land Trust Act provides preferential housing benefits only to those it defines as native Chamorros, and therefore it discriminates on the basis of race and national origin. Gibson is African American who was married to a Chamorro woman, and they lived on a land trust lot. He built a house on the lot for his wife and stepchildren, but when his wife died, he was forced off the property by the Chamorro Land Trust Commission. Gibson said he appealed the decision and sought to have his name placed on the land trust lease, but his appeal was rejected because he didn't have a birth certificate saying that one of his parents was Chamorro. Gibson's case is referred to in the lawsuit filed by the Justice Department against the Land Trust Act. The Guam Daily Post contacted Land Management Director Michael Borja for comment. He declined because the case is subject to legal action. Gibson told the Post that he hopes through this court action by the federal government that everyone on Guam will be given the same rights regardless of those who do not have a mother or father who was Chamorro. A pedestrian died early yesterday morning after being struck by a vehicle that fled the scene, according to GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau. This latest death is the 23rd traffic-related fatality on Guam this year. It happened sometime before 3:15 a.m. Sunday morning on Governor Carlos Camacho Road into Mooning, when officers from the Tumon Precinct Command responded to a call and found a lifeless man lying on the outer northbound lane near Tunjuan Perez Street. Investigators determined that the vehicle that hit him fled the scene. They're now looking for the vehicle and the driver involved. Tapau is asking anyone with information about this hit and run to contact Guam Police by calling the GPD dispatch line at 472-8911, or you can remain anonymous by calling the Guam Crime Stoppers hotline at 477-HELP. We'll have more news after this.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Ruby Tuesday. Buy a $25 or $50 gift card for those on your shopping list. Get a $15 bonus coupon with every $50 card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Ruby Tuesday. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Get a free medium pizza with every $25 gift card purchase and a free extra large pizza with every $50 gift card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Once upon a time, if you suffered a stroke, extreme form of cancer, or needed specialized care like open heart surgery, you had to go off-island for treatment. Today, GRMC provides this care so patients recover on Guam, surrounded by family. Follow-up care happens locally, and there are no additional expenses for a caregiver to travel with you. If you're a federal employee or retiree, choose Calvo Select Care, the only insurance plan serving the federal market that includes GRMC, where patients are partners.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 7 a.m. Guam police are investigating an apparent road rage incident on Saturday night that began on San Vitoris Road in Tumon and ended with an attack on a husband and wife at a gas station in Upper Tumon. Guam Police Department spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau confirms that a couple reported being attacked. A reader-contributed cell phone video shows part of what appears to be the first half of the incident in front of Guma Tranquilidad. A Toyota sedan and a Scion are stopped in the street, and the two drivers are engaged in an altercation. The Toyota speeds away while two men in the Scion chase after the vehicle on foot. Another video taken by a surveillance camera at the Upper Tumon Mobile captures the second part of the incident. It shows the same two men from the Scion running from the Triple J dealer's lot into the Mobile gas station parking lot. The couple from the Toyota are seen with their backs to the attackers, standing next to a gas station attendant. One of the attackers can be seen firing an object from what appears to be a slingshot at their backs. The attendant and the couple are then seen ducking and running away from the two attackers who chase them. Sergeant Tapau confirms that police responded to the scene Saturday night, spoke to the couple, reviewed the video. He said an investigation is underway. No further details are available. A 21-year-old man, Jared John Santos, is behind bars accused of shooting a man in Agate around midnight Friday. Santos reportedly got into a verbal altercation with another man while they were fueling their cars. Both vehicles left the gas station after the altercation. As the victim's vehicle was driving down Route 2, the vehicle Santos was in came up alongside, and according to court documents, Santos, who was seated on the passenger side, pointed a silver handgun at the victim and shot him, resulting in a wound to the victim's stomach. The victim's condition is not known. Santos was arrested and charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
I got breezy conditions today. Partly cloudy skies, breezes, isolated showers, winds out of the east up to about 25 miles an hour, decreasing tonight. Highs about 88 degrees and overnight lows of about 77 degrees. The sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:32. Sunset tonight at 5:54. Quick look now at the weather radar. Mike will give you an idea of what the weather patterns are going to be for the next hour or so.
Yeah, looking at the radar here, seeing a lot of activity out there. Most of it is isolated, but it's starting to get into that scattered realm, and that just has to do with the amount of coverage. And all of this is associated with some weak upper and middle level instability that is blowing on through, and it's kind of teaming up with the moisture that's at the surface. It brought some of that moisture with it, and as it does, it's going to continue to fire off these showers and thunderstorms, a possibility of thunderstorms, because we've got this upper level activity going on. We can see it in the satellite photo there. It is to our southwest. That's out there by Yap right now, but we're on the tail end, the northern end of that, dragging some of that instability across us, and when the heat of the day hits that moisture and that upper level instability, could be some thunder this afternoon, so expect that. But no widespread coverage, just a few showers here and there. Still going to be an enjoyable day.
Gotcha. All right, and that's news and weather together. 7:14 here on The Point. Coming up next, Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. Introducing Exchanged, Guam's first online and mobile remittance to the Philippines. Exchanged is the easiest and fastest way to send money to your family and friends anywhere in the Philippines. Download the Exchanged app or visit their website, exchange.me. Sign up, remit, and get a chance to win a trip for two to Manila. Deluxe accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. So sign up and remit now at Exchanged. Promo ends March 2nd, 2019. Conditions apply. Also avail of Exchange dollar to remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details. Exchange, yes, handy program, if you will, and you can download it right now on the on your Google App Store and start remittance today for as low as $1. Where we need you to go to King's for their crazy holiday menu, and the crazy item that I'm going to tell you about now is the Fruity Pebbles pancake. They've figured out a way to infuse the fruity breakfast cereal flakes into the fluffy pancakes. Then they serve that with powdered sugar and syrup. Now that's not problem-plagued procurement procedures. Powdered. Got to figure out.
Or a tropical upper tropospheric trough.
Just trying to get as many plosives in here as possible. Just drench this microphone with DJ saliva. 7:15 in the morning, and that's what we want you to try for breakfast today at King's.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Portions of the program brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with, yes, American President Lines. They're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. And Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgical needs.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
A Subway card, as in Subway sandwich, is the gotta-have-it gift with cards from $5 up to pretty much any amount. You'll give a gift and get a gift, too. Visit your favorite Subway restaurant today.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. On demand at thepoint.gu.
On demand on Facebook Live and on demand at YouTube Live now. I see Felix Regis is there. Vince Duenas, Ismael saying nothing good happens between midnight and 5 a.m. out on the streets. Lady D says the shame of that hit and run. Yeah, a bystander videoing the body, and that's floating around on Facebook. Now, originally it made it sound like there was a murder and dismemberment, and I had the opportunity to click on the video, but I didn't need to see something like that first thing in the morning, so I didn't, and so I think there have been hopefully corrections made in the removal of that particular video from the social media. 7:18 in the morning, and delighted. I got a call WhatsApp late last night asking if I might have some time on the radio for the incoming Lieutenant Governor-elect Josh Tenorio. Well, yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I can make time for him. Good morning, Joshy.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing terrific. Well, congratulations. I haven't seen you since the election.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We've worked long and hard, and looking forward to doing all the work that we signed up for.
Well, I have a list. So it's all the work that you signed up for and then some.
And then some.
And then some. So I've got to ask you, it's one of the things that we're hearing a lot of. It's, this incoming administration, first time a lady governor on Guam and an openly bald lieutenant governor.
Yeah. That bald thing has helped me look younger, but I found out that in the election, a lot of people thought I was a bit more younger than I was.
Take a look at
that was a mixed gift there.
Take advantage of it. I got Jerry Roberts standing by for the extra point here, and that was a moment. He's also
hairstyle.
Yeah, he's also openly bald.
Well, there are 2 other openly bald lieutenant governors elect that I met last week. So
really,
one of them, by the way, is 32 years old.
A 32-year-old lieutenant governor.
Oh yes, from Wisconsin.
Yeah, from Wisconsin, and openly bald.
And I made me seem like an underachiever.
No, oh, impossible. Anybody that has watched your career in and out of public service knows better than that. So Tony just said, "Can you make some time for the LT?" And of course I can, but he didn't actually tell me what it was that you wanted to talk about. So you tell me what you want to talk about, and then I'll start on my list.
Well, I just wanted to have the opportunity to thank the people of Guam and let you know that I'm looking forward to coming someday to your studio. I haven't seen your new digs.
Oh, it's incredible in here. It's all high-tech, state-of-the-art stuff. It's so high-tech, I don't even touch anything. That's what Michael Knight does. He's got the buttons. I'm only allowed to touch a handful of buttons in a computer around here, but the rest of it is all high-tech and good-looking. I'd love to get you. You should come in here with Jerry and do the extra points. We have the two bald heads together in the same place.
Make sure you control the lighting because it might shine off of our heads.
I'll work on that. Hey, there's a lot of people.
What I wanted to say is obviously we were very privileged that we started last night with rolling out who the leadership is going to be in these next few years for the government of Guam. And of course, we've announced that our chief of staff is former Assistant Secretary Tony Babauta. Our incoming Deputy Chief of Staff is John Jr. Calvo. And our chief financial advisor is Bertha Duenas. And I think that what that's an indication of is that we recognize we have a lot of hard work and complex issues, number one, that we have to deal with the federal government. And we're going to be tapping Tony's expertise and his network to try and help the governor-elect and myself and our administration work through the circles of Washington, trying to really address this H-2 labor issue for the entire island, facilitate a working military buildup that works for everybody, and addressing all of these unfunded mandates with the federal government. John Jr. Calvo brings some experience, but some youth into the office. We're looking forward to his leadership, and of course, Bert has been a long-standing person involved in government finances, and I think the big priority for us domestically, locally here is really stabilizing our government finances, and so we're really pleased.
Well, no, they'll be stable. By the time the inauguration is done, it'll be stable at zero. There won't be a penny in the Treasury with what sound like hiring sprees and spending sprees that are going on, and surprise holidays. I don't know that you'll have anything to work with other than a zero or negative bank account when you guys take office. I think there are going to be some challenges ahead for you in the first part of this administration, and I hope the responses and I think Bertha will be able to help guide us through what some of the options might be that don't necessarily involve borrowing and don't necessarily involve taking anything out of the hide of the taxpayers anymore.
Right. That's right. Borrowing for operations and raising taxes, those are some things that we certainly have campaigned against and are part of our fiscal discipline inside in this incoming administration. But, the Governor Calvo has asked his administration to be very open and transparent with us. We are conscious of the different spending that's going on. Especially in some of those autonomous agencies, but at least for the government finances, we're getting a handle on, and we're ready to be at work and to manage this thing on January 7th on our inauguration day.
So there's a couple of things. One of them is kind of almost feels like an inside joke. So we know where the outside inauguration is going to be. We know about the inaugural ball that's going to be taking place. I want to know where the Josh Tenorio party is going to be taking place. I want to know the when and where on that one. And I'm thinking, we need to get BJ Cruz in on this here. This is what I want to be concerned about. What's on Troy Torres' phone by the time this party's over? You know what I mean?
Well, then I guess that we'll have to invite you to our inaugural mass.
The inaugural mass. There you go. That's exactly what I was thinking. Thanks very much. But are you going to be doing anything separate? I mean, there's the administration stuff, but I mean, this is kind of a big deal for you personally. And I know that there's a lot of people that would like to, I think, more informally offer you our congratulations.
Well, I would say that our inaugural festivities are pretty planned for the community. We have a lot of people that really helped us, a lot of my family and friends that were involved in the election. But I'll tell you, though, probably one insider party I might have, and I still have to plan this, is for my Talofofo group. Now, I'll tell you, Ray, I moved to Talofofo in March. I had bought a house last year in August, and I moved there in March, and we really didn't have much of a campaign organization there, but that group met inside my house, even when I wasn't home, to really plan for the election, and it ended up being the second biggest win throughout the island was my new home village. And, of course, my old precinct in Sinahanya was the second highest margin in all of the precincts in the election county, nearly 60%. So I guess what I'd tell you is that, you know, when I work on things in the community. The community is part of my life, and those are the people that I want to celebrate my win with.
I'll keep an ear out. Maybe Bibas and Miguel, maybe we'll do something around Fiesta time. I think that'd be appropriate.
Oh, that's good. Well, I certainly have about 10 months to plan.
It'd give you at least that. Well, there's other work that needs to be done. Like I said, it almost began as a joke, but I've more seriously taken a look at some of the list, the Ray Gibson Show list of crap we want Lou and Josh to fix, including, and I'm sure you've seen it a million times, wondering what it is that we can't get our heads around, is that god-awful, butt-ugly chain-link fence in front of John F. Kennedy. I really consider that an affront in this community. It's just, it no longer serves the purpose for which it was built, and it's ugly. And it is in the corridor that takes our tourists from the airport to the hotels.
I've heard you talk about it 3 times, to be honest with you. When I was traveling last week, I did think about that when I saw some better alternatives that have been used for mediums, like using green stuff and things like that. So I'm conscious of it, Ray.
Good.
I know that's your top pet peeve. Actually,
but I've got other more serious pet peeves, and you know, one of the things that we're talking about here this morning is we got road rage. There's at least, I want to say, in the Saturday edition of the Daily Post, there's a couple of stories of finally we've got a couple of ne'er-do-wells, drug jugheads that the courts are finally saying, no, you're a danger to yourself and the community, so we're not going to release you, and we're going to put you behind bars until your trial. There needs to be more of that, not less of that. We've got a problem here with people's attitudes about the criminal justice system and the respect for the law. And I think there's you were at the judiciary for a long time.
Yeah, and I think it starts. If you want a compliant community, a community that follows the law, then you have to be able to enforce it at all aspects. So it starts from the traffic, you know, and if people are running red lights, they're not and breaking those rules, then you have to try and do enforcement. So I'll be honest with you, I've been looking at some plans about what we're going to be doing on the first 100 days to step up definitely police presence throughout the island.
Good.
And I think that you'll see that the things that we'll be doing in our first 100 days are exactly the things that we've talked about, and at least you'll know the direction we're going to.
Perfect. Well, I can hardly wait, and as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to wait for the inauguration to do any of that. I'm delighted at some of the names that I'm hearing, and certainly Tony and Mr. Calvo and Bert, and calling her Bert. I can hardly wait for our first conversation with her because she always made me feel smart. 7:28. Listen, buddy, I got to let you run.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations. Give Auntie Lou a big hug.
Will do. Thanks.
I'll see you pretty soon. Lieutenant Governor-elect Josh Tenorio here on the program. You want to go directly into the headlines? Well, I don't. Let me just check with the guy who's normally going on the air at around 7:20. Jerry Roberts, you got time? Yeah. All right, groovy. We'll move the financial report and the extra point and all of that to the other side of headlines, which we'll do right now. From the Guam Daily Post, here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, 26-year-old Harry George Cook Cruz is facing drug possession allegations after police found methamphetamine, morphine, and other drugs in his vehicle. According to the magistrate report, police responded to a complaint from a woman who reported that a small leather backpack had been stolen from the back seat of her car. A witness claims to have seen a suspect, later identified as Cruz, hiding something under his shirt and jumping into a truck that sped off. Police later spotted the truck, stopped the vehicle, and questioned Cruz. According to the magistrate complaint, Cruz admitted taking the victim's bag because she previously had stolen something from him. He also admitted to having taken Xanax that day. Cruz was charged with possession of a Schedule II drug, theft, and driving while impaired. 6 recent promotions at the Guam Police Department are the subject of a new grievance filed with the Civil Service Commission. A group of officers contend they were passed over for promotions that were not properly announced and were made in violation of the government's merit system. The Guam Federation of Teachers represents the officers who filed the grievance. The GFT says the civil service staff recommended the commission approve an investigation into the promotions. The officers assert that proper procedures were not followed. They requested that the promotions be rescinded. In question are 5 police officers who were promoted police officer 2s and 1 officer who was promoted to police lieutenant. As expected, Tony Babauta has been named the Chief of Staff to the incoming administration of Governor-elect Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor-elect Josh Tenorio. Babauta played a key role in the Lou and Josh campaign. He's a former aide to outgoing Washington delegate Madeline Bordallo and ran against her for the delegate's seat in 2016 but lost. Babauta was a Department of Interior Assistant Secretary until his resignation in 2013 following an Inspector General report that concluded he had made inappropriate comments to some employees. However, Babauta points out that that report was referred to the Department of Justice, which found no reason to pursue the allegations. The incoming administration also named John Jr. Calvo, District Chief of Staff for Delegate Madeline Bordallo, as the incoming governor's Deputy Chief of Staff, and Bertha Duenas was named Chief Advisor for Fiscal Discipline. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Good plan. 7:31, that's iConnect time in the studios here at the radio station. Swing by the nearest iConnect or call them at 888-8888 and ask about details on how you and a friend could be aboard an airplane all the way out to Manila. It's going to be a good time. What are you looking at? Oh, no, we're not going to tis the season. Do you want to play it anyway? I mean, I could. Thank you. Love that. 7:31. 'Tis the season to connect and win with iConnect.
Attention federal employees and annuitants. Open enrollment begins on November 12th through December 10th for federal employees' health insurance plans. With rates 19% lower than last year for Take Care's non-postal high option and access to PICA's Best Clinic FHP Health Center, Take Care's supplemental wellness package provides cash incentives and allows members access to 19 fitness partners, including the largest fully functioning fitness center in Hagåtña and Dededo. To learn more, call Take Care at 646-6956. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
Introducing Wendy's newest artisan bread masterpiece, the Bacon Maple Chicken Sandwich. Let me piece by piece this for you. We've got hot, crispy, home-style chicken fillet, which would be great all by itself. They put some Swiss cheese on that, and because it's Wendy's, and we extra everything there, applewood smoked bacon, and then they drizzle the whole thing with a sweet and savory maple glaze, all in between a warm and fluffy croissant bun, because, you know, we're classy like that at Wendy's. Limited-time sandwich brings back the flavors you crave. Wonderful time of year, and in certain regions of the United States, this goes together like Coca-Cola with peanuts in it, if you know what I mean. Try it today at Wendy's.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
There is traffic slowing down up on Route 3, up above the intersection between 3 and 28 up there. I'm trying to figure out what the appropriate landmark is going to be, but it's going to get ugly before too long before you get around to where Ukadu is, and then finally out to Marine Corps Drive. Also looking at traffic beginning to build up in all of the usual spots southbound Marine Corps Drive from about Woostig and Prestige Auto down a little bit further south from Wysang Song all the way over to where the new flea market place is, and you'll find it beginning to build up in all kinds of other places associated with the north end of Guam as well. Traffic moving down Route 14 Alpha. That's the JFK intersection and Marine Corps Drive, beginning to build up through there. Looking at traffic building up southbound towards Marine Corps Drive on Challenge 14B. That is the road in front of Guam Premier Outlets. Is that right? Wait a second. Let me just double check on that. No, that's the road that takes you over by the 76 on Marine Corps Drive. UIU intersection is where I'm talking about. Sorry, that's a long time ago. UIU intersection. Papa's. You know, we got the pizza place. Okay, that intersection is beginning to heavy up. Are there any other places right now that you need to know about? Inbound traffic, if you're on Route 8, headed north on Route 8 towards 810 at 16, a little bit busy there. Also busying up southbound on Route 10 as you make your way to the University of Guam. Clear in Agania Heights, clear at Big Navy, and relatively clear in front of Anderson Air Force Base as well. 734, starting to get busy out there. Drive carefully.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Lady D says, love that "'Tis the Season" soundbite. That was my shotgun, getting me some deer meat for Kelligwin. That's cool. My pal Tricia Cruz on Facebook Live, she's in charge of the Bella Baby Watch, at least for today. A friend of ours, Perla, had a baby shower on Saturday night. Well attended, had a good time, and so we're all taking bets to figure out when the baby is going to be coming out. And you know, everybody, I think we've got $10 or $20 into this gigantic pot now that's going to be going forward. My day is the 14th because that's my sister's birthday, so I'm thinking that that might actually happen. So today is the 10th. Hold it in, Perla. Hold it in. Chirag Bajwani from PNC's on. Ryan St. Nicholas. Joyce Lujan Kraus is there. Tommy Bernardo. Felix Regis. Vince Duenas. And a whole cavalcade of other fans and friends watching the program, including Carlos Barreto and Eddie Cruz and Joy Santa Marina, Mars Camacho, and Charlie Laurent from over at GRMC. We got a lot to get to. I got Frank Blas Jr. is going to be in talking about the Azuda toy drive that's going to be taking place, and we'll lay on that. But first, we've got to do Jerry Roberts and today's, first of all, welcome to the program, Excuse the Mess.
It's quite all right.
Yeah, you remember live radio?
I remember live radio, UIU. I remember Hospital Road.
Governor calls, Lieutenant Governor calls in, you take the call, right?
Now, he's the token bald guy, right? There's nobody else in there.
In the administration?
There's nobody else they're going to have this bald.
Yeah, like just, you know,
I'll bet you.
Kind of got tired of all of the conversation about, well, the island's first, and everybody's first openly gay lieutenant governor. I said, you know what? He's also openly bald.
Openly bald.
Yeah.
Seriously bald.
Going to go in that direction. You know, everybody zigs this way. I want to zag in the other direction.
And you're betting on babies? What happened to football pools in the office?
You know, I never into that. And by the way, program note, Blake Watson is not in the office today. He's on baby watch as well.
Oh.
And so I'm not sure what's going to happen. But the girl on Star 101 that's doing the show for him doesn't know anything about sports. So I've got another girl. You know her, Renee. Used to be over at PIC, then she was working with Rims, and now she's over at Outback. And as it turns out, Renee, smart, attractive, and knows about football.
Oh, there you go.
She knows about her team. And so she's going to be sitting where you are.
Which is her team?
Jersey, I think. What's the team out in Jersey?
Ain't no team in Jersey.
Well, that's why she's going to be in to tell me all about it. It is part of evolution of the program.
There you go.
Yeah, people in Jersey generally root for the Jets.
The Jets. Okay, so she's going to come in and tell me how great the Jets are. See, I can talk smack right now because I know she's running.
Which is weird because the Giants actually play in Jersey.
The what?
The Giants.
Okay, you've got me all confused. Yeah. I'm totally turned around here. So we'll get
Meadowlands.
The Meadow means nothing to me.
I know that.
It means absolutely nothing to me. Ask me about the Bottomlands.
The Bottomlands.
Right? Ask me about the Bottomlands up in Geo. I tell you all about all day. Meadowlands, I don't know. 7:38. Now, here's Jerry Roberts in the Monday Extra Point.
I wanted to wait a few days after George Bush's funeral to get my thoughts together. Inevitably, what happens when somebody of an iconic nature passes, the first few days after the death, there's a ton of accolades come in. And then once the individual is buried, then the other side of the coin usually appears, and some of the negativity comes out, which has happened in the last several days. So I wanted to kind of balance all that and do a little research and to come up with this. George Bush today on the Extra Point. Our 41st president was the last in the Oval Office from what we call the greatest generation. He was a Navy pilot in World War II, flew many combat missions. He was the ultimate political insider, elected to Congress, United Nations representative, chairman of the Republican Party during Watergate, special envoy to China, director of the CIA, vice president, and then president. He had a resume unlike anyone else to ever occupy the White House. Succeeding Ronald Reagan was tough, and America didn't receive Bush as warmly. He separated from the extreme far right of the Republican Party and its economic approach, the trickle-down theory. He called it voodoo economics, and that raised eyebrows. He campaigned on read my lips, no new taxes, then realized he had to do it, which was a major factor in his unsuccessful bid for re-election. He presided over the end of the Cold War, and him being a person of restraint likely benefited America and the rest of the world. When the Berlin Wall was taken down, he didn't make it a massive celebration, which helped Russian leader Mikhail Gorbachev to save face. Bush saw the larger picture. The Soviet Union was losing influence and eventually would split up. And by not giving Russian hardliners anything to use against Gorbachev, he didn't inadvertently create a backlash that would result in new problems. He knew that victory in itself was enough. Embarrassing the other guy was pointless, and we can all learn from that. He refused to kill Saddam Hussein in the first war on Iraqi soil because he said, what then? He saw a big problem in disrupting the Middle East. His successors obviously did not agree, including his son, the 43rd president. And it's hard to say that Middle Eastern policy over the past 2 decades has made the world a better or a safer place. He also had his share of detractors. Critics said he lied to create a reason for the war in Iraq and that there were numerous cover-ups in his administration. Prior to his death, social media and YouTube were not kind to 41. I'll leave it at that. George H.W. Bush said of himself, I'm a man who sees life in terms of missions, missions defined and missions completed. Now, however you come to the game with George Bush, however you feel about him, whether he was a great president or whether he was not and did a lot of things that you didn't like, I always try to find a connection that you and I can make to improve our lives, something we can take away, and I think we can take it away from his public demeanor. He came off as a quiet, humble man who could make fun of himself. He never saw ego plays. Those who knew him said he was a great listener. He made friends across the aisle, and he didn't try to beat down or destroy his opponents. He didn't come out in criticism of Bill Clinton. That wasn't his style. And then there was the constant public display of affection for the love of his life, his wife Barbara. So regardless of what our personal political choices may be, I think we can all connect with him on those things. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 in the Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Great piece. Wonderful piece there. A note, Lady D says she believes President Jimmy Carter might end up being the one from the last, the greatest generation. He was also in the Navy. And as people will forget, he's actually still alive.
That's right.
That's a fact.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Jerry Roberts in today's Extra Point. Frank Blas Jr. in moments.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Chili's.
What happened?
3 for Me menu just got bigger. We're giving you more choices for the same great price. For just $15, you can get a beverage, salad, and an entree. First, choose from a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Then enjoy a house salad and select your choice of a mouth-watering entree, like our half-rack ribs, Cajun chicken pasta, old-timer burger, personal chicken fajitas, or the flavorful margarita flatbread. So hurry in today and enjoy our Chili's 3 for Me menu for just $15. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
It's 7:43. This is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point, and bringing into the studio a very close, very dear personal friend. And when I say that, it's a friendship that goes back 54 years or something. Frank and I have known each other since before we could recognize other people's faces.
I think we shared cribs.
There's that possibility. We were at Oka together, with Donna and Tina. Right, and so just back from a get together that we had over the weekend over at the house. Frank and Tilly bring the family together for what has got to be the largest Christmas tree display on Guam. I've never seen a bigger one.
Well, I've never seen other houses the same way.
But how many trees in the house?
34.
34 trees of a variety of sizes. It's not as though, you've got the 7-foot trees all over the place. There's just a whole bunch of 6s and a bunch of 5s and some 3s. We'll scatter around a couple of 2-footers, but all individually decorated.
Right.
That's the part that blows me away.
Yeah.
That's the part that blows me away. Obviously, you heavy adoption of Christmas over in the Bloss house.
Yeah, Christmas starts right around August.
And it was nice to see Mrs. Bloss Sr.
Oh yes, she truly enjoyed it. She sat there, of course, next to the desserts and stuff.
Where I was, next to the desserts.
Right.
Did Joe John make the chocolate cake?
No, that was actually John Uggan's wife.
Okay.
Donna.
God, that was good. That was like dude, that was hotel quality.
It was.
And I was like thinking, I got to run the next morning. I don't know if I should have any more than 2 or 3 of these.
I think she got like 5 orders that night.
Nice. So the reason why why Frank's in the studio is obviously it's around the holiday time. I might sneak in a serious question or two in here, but I want to make sure that you got an opportunity.
Really? You'll do that?
Council doctrine, stand your ground.
Okay.
Just thinking out loud here, with some of the street crime that we're seeing these days, and guys, jugheads on drugs, or jugheads just being jugheads, and road rage now that is turning
right down the street.
Exactly. I'm going to follow you to the gas station and slingshot your car.
Right.
What the heck are we going to do about that? How do we win that war? But first, let's start by making sure that people, sometimes from a disadvantaged background, also have an opportunity to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me here today. Today, I'd like to be able to announce that the Azuda Foundation and its continuing efforts to be able to help our brothers and sisters in the CNMI, recover from that Super Typhoon U2 that they experienced. Today, officially, we're going to be starting our toy drive.
Cool.
And our toy drive is because we firmly believe that, many of the families up there, right around this time, they would normally start to prepare for Christmas and go around and do the things that other people would do. But they don't have that opportunity.
They're in recovery. One of my first thoughts after U2 was done, I'm looking over at the calendar and I realize these guys are into devastation and destruction, the likes of which they had not seen in years, the likes of which you and I may not have seen in many years, going back to Typhoon Pamela.
Right.
And so I was thinking, the people that are going to have the biggest impact here are the kids, because they're going to miss a holiday unless somebody really, really goes an extra step, goes down another country mile. They're going to miss out on a great kind of Thanksgiving, great kind of Christmas.
That's right. And so we're teaming, the Azuda Foundation is teaming with a number of community partners that we have here. And a number of them stepped up, GTA and the Guam Community College. And I think that A&Z as well is going to be stepping up. Java Junction, my office, Frank Bloss and Associates. We're going to be spearheading and starting a drive to be able to get some toys, for the kids that are up in the CNMI and both Saipan and Tinian. The parents, right now they're spending their money on trying to rebuild their homes.
The mosquito coils and tarp.
Right, yeah. And so chances are that, a child may have to go through this season or without a toy, without something to be able to help ease their nerves too as well. We were talking to Mayor St. from Tinian on Saturday, and there was a psychologist that went in and spoke to a lot of the kids, and they're traumatized. And we're trying to find a way to be able to
Can you imagine? I mean, and for me, it's difficult to imagine because I've lived over I've had a concrete roof over my house since about 1963 after Karen. So I don't know what that feeling is to have the security of your roof fly away while you're under it and having everything, everyone you love and everything that you own exposed now to the elements for who knows how long it's going to be.
Well, you know, it's actually even worse than that. Those that
I don't
had
know how it
concrete
could be
homes.
worse.
The barometric pressure dropped so low that the windows that they had secured, they had typhoon shutters, aluminum shutters, it imploded because of the pressure and stuff. And so, where you felt you were safe in this concrete structure, even there, you know, many of the homes had.
So here's what I want to do. Whatever airtime wise, I've got two. There's this radio station. There's two other radio stations underneath the concrete roof that is here, and so make some plans. I'll get somebody in contact with you or Jimmy or Carlotta, come in and record some PSAs that we can run on all of the radio stations all the time.
We truly appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Okay.
And now for businesses, other folks that are listening right now that would like to get involved,
give us a call, 473-3003.
I got to write it down. 473-3003.
003.
And find Frank or Jimmy Espaldon.
I'll give you my cell.
Go ahead.
687-1483. Give me a call.
And
this is for the kids.
Call them up, and we'll work out whatever the arrangements need to be to get. If you're looking for obviously actual gifts,
right? New unwrapped gifts. New unwrapped gifts.
But I don't have any new unwrapped gifts. Can I just give you money?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You know, or if you got backpacks, you know, school supplies.
Oh,
These kids, you know, they were anxious to go to school. But many of them didn't have anything to bring back to school. Because
clearly
it was
not relation to us.
Right.
When I say us, I mean me and you. What do you mean? What do you mean we're going back to school?
Yeah.
No. We were. I remember our generation. We were released. Get out. You've got work to do. So you may not. You don't have to come back to school, Sister said. And none of us went back to school. I just showed up at Father Duenas one day, going, "What the heck is happening here?" Crazy times.
When did I take that test?
I don't remember. I don't think I remember taking the test. It just show up because
I don't. Neither do I. It's decades ago.
Yeah, and everybody that would know the answer to the question is dead now. 10
I
away.
don't think they know that either.
10 away from the top of the hour. So let me just play tag with a couple of issues here. We got a new administration that's coming in, and they're arguably coming in at a time where people are becoming more and more aware of the kinds of crazy street crime that we've got. I mean, we've always had problems with break-ins. We've always had guys on drugs and breaking into people's houses, and then they start breaking into people's cars, and now we're starting to see a lot more of personal violence that's happening on the streets. This road rage thing that turned into a chase, that turned into a slingshot attack. What are we going to do about that as a community, Darryl?
Well, I think we've got to start from the community. We've got to start from the family. One of the things that I've noticed is in many of the crimes, not just the road rage, but every other thing, you know, it breaks down to what happened to the family values. What happened to the values that we've cherished the most in the community, within a family, within the structure? You know, take a look at the number of homeless people that we have out there. Okay, it's unprecedented. And then you look at the faces and the people that are there. These are people that, you know, a lot, for the most part, you know, from local descent.
Yeah.
And if we start to work on the values, okay, within the family and values within the person, okay, I think that many individuals just don't value their lives anymore, don't value what could come of their lives.
No, depending on their surroundings. And it's not just homelessness. It's talking about the surroundings that they're currently living in.
There have been many stories of individuals who decided that they don't want to live that life and they were going to try other things. But they were given that opportunity and given that avenue based on a number of different services that could be provided, not by the government. You remember me, I'm a Republican. You know, I believe that, you know, the less that government is involved in somebody's life, the better. That said, is if we go back, we need to go back and look at the values, the family values. Okay, the other day in the story, one of the concerns they have, with regard to the procession on December 8th, is the lack of individuals that are showing up there anymore. You know, I went to Mass on Saturday night with Till, our regular Mass, and small church, but there was still a lot of room for a lot more people who should be there. We got to work on that. I think that there are enough laws.
Yeah, and we've got to talk about enforcement of the laws. I'm not going to disagree with you on that point. But the question about why there are fewer people showing up at Catholic masses on Guam might have to do with the values. Might have to do with the values of the priests now that have been exposed over all of these years.
But the church in our faith, of course, the church is the people, the congregation, the people that are there, and we've got to work on that. I've seen. And I've constantly told people, I says, man, you got to make something better of your life. And what do there are a number of different programs and things that you can avail yourself to. Yeah. But you got to want to do it.
And I think the path of least action for a lot of people is never mind. It's easier to,
Sure, why not? Because, I remember there was one time walking through the hallways of the apartments that we used to have. And literally, a grandmother was teaching their grandkids how to stay on public assistance.
Right.
Okay. I understand as far as public assistance. That's a hand up, not a handout. But we've somehow turned that into, I'm entitled to this. This is my right. No. We've got to be able to build a community where people become responsible for their lives.
There is a law. And I think it is something that at the governor's discretion, I might get this wrong, but these programs, these so-called entitlement programs that you mentioned, there should be some kind of effort and some kind of follow-through for the individual that is in this service.
Yes,
if they're able-bodied, to go and find it. Did you find work this week? Yes. No, I did not. Did you look for work this week? Yes, I did. All right, well, then we'll keep you in the program for a little bit longer. They were talking about sunsets, and this goes back to Democratic presidents saying, a couple of years in under assistance really is all anybody should need. And especially in the economy that we've got here, where there's businesses looking for workers.
It really disturbed me. I think it was early part of this year or late part of last year when there was a request for a waiver for an extension.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm going, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, and probably people are going to chastise me or going to get mad at me after this conversation, but no.
No, it's okay to ask the question. Can you work? Yes, I can.
Yes.
Are you qualified to work? High school diploma. There's a place down the street. That's all they need for you to get a job. Yeah. Well, I don't want to do that. I'd rather be an assistant. Aren't you ashamed? Are you not ashamed?
But until our government starts to recognize that they're administering a program that's supposed to help people get back up on their feet, not to help,
perpetuate.
Can you imagine you 30 years on the job? On that job, and you get a retirement benefit?
Nobody's going to chastise you because you already said you're Republican. that's the I mean that's one.
But you'd be amazed at how many
Republicans
will be chastised.
No, nothing surprises me anymore. But what I wanted to talk about is aside from that, because that feels like a longer term approach, is I want to get more badges in squad cars on the streets, patrolling and being a visible deterrent to crime. Is that too much to ask for?
That's not too much to ask for, but I'm going to also ask, being a part of law enforcement, observation, don't hide behind the badge. And there, a lot of people says, well, there's been a loss of respect for law enforcement. Well, respect is earned, okay? You don't get that after about 6 or 7 months in the police academy and you get a badge and a gun.
Yeah.
And then you walk around and says, there's a new sheriff in town.
Look at me, I'm bad.
Yeah, look at me, I'm bad. No, okay, earn the respect. Go out and be with the community. When I was a police officer, our supervisor used to challenge us and, go out there and see how many people we can talk to so that, it's easier and you're able to relate. I see that's lost a little, okay? And so...
You know who I'd like to see? Because I know exactly the kind of cop you're talking about. There used to be a fellow named Tyson.
Yeah,
didn't he run?
Tyson.
Didn't he run Jonia?
He ran Jonia, but he also ran the neighborhood patrol program. Is that the same one you want?
Maybe. Dearth maybe is the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, Dearth. Okay, yeah.
MC Cruz.
MC Cruz is another.
Mariano.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Legendary fellas.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I mean, and it was, everybody knew that these guys were, fair and good cops, but they were also not ashamed to bang your head if you needed to have some headbanging going on.
I remember MC Cruz, he'll pull you over and says, okay, how fast were you going? And you knew you broke the law.
This is a quiz. I remember asking, what do you mean? You don't know how fast I was going? You turned the lights on for me? And he said, I think I might be the only guy on Guam that never got a ticket from MC Cruz. Even Ricky Berdallo and his driver got a ticket from MC Cruz. Well, that's because you were a good boy. You know, your dad was Frank Bloss. It's like we can't get into too much trouble.
Yeah, just like yours, right?
Yeah. So your dad's Bill Gibson. Your uncle is Jim Underwood, the senator. Right. You better not get in any kind of trouble. In fact, if you get in trouble, you better hope you get arrested.
Right.
For your own protection.
But, going back to the question, I think that this season, now's the time. Let's learn to be able to be responsible for our lives.
Yep.
And, get out of that glut of the entitlements and stuff. Let's work on ways
Lynn Vince agreeing. She says they've got to do something. Nothing is free. Make recipients do something. Everyone is capable of doing something. Put your shoulder to the grindstone, pick up a rope, and pull it. See what happens. Darrow, it's always great seeing you. Great. And kiss to the wife and kiss to mom. And let me know when it's time for another get-together in the front yard.
You got it, my buddy.
Looking forward to it. Frank Bloss Jr. Here in the studio. The Azuda Foundation, and they're looking for toys effective right now. 473-3003 or 687-1483, the 1483 number. Don't call it right now because Frank's microphone is still on. But find him and find ways to make donations. The radio station is KUSG. Again, you stand by now for Fox News Live.
Assessing the evidence. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. Lawmakers weighing in on the latest findings from special counsel Robert Mueller in the Russia investigation. At issue, allegations that President Trump directed former attorney Michael Cohen to make hush money payments to two women who say they had affairs with the president before he took office. Senate Independent Angus King of Maine tells Fox News Sunday.
It's more of a drip than a opening of the fire hose, and it continues to develop in ways that aren't favorable to the president, but I think in the filings this week, there's nothing definitive.
Senate Republican Marco Rubio says the investigation needs to fully play out.
Before I'm prepared to make a public pronouncement that I'm ready to make judgment on one thing or another, I'd like to have all of the information before us, and I also want us to finish our work on the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Senator Rubio on ABC's This Week. Some concern on both sides of the aisle over President Trump's nominee for Attorney General. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Steve, William Barr may have held the position of Attorney General before, but Republican Senator Rand Paul said on NBC's Meet the Press that he has concerns that the privacy of citizens could be compromised on his watch.
I haven't made a decision yet on him, but I can tell you the first things that I've learned about him being for more surveillance of Americans is very, very troubling.
Democratic Representative Adam Schiff said on CBS Face the Nation there needs to be a guarantee from Barr before any Senate confirmation happens.
That he will not interfere in the Mueller investigation and that he will be sure that the Mueller report is ultimately made public.
The president is expecting a swift confirmation process, Steve.
Thanks, Gernal. So much for his frontrunner status. Vice President Pence's Chief of Staff, Nick Ayers, will not succeed John Kelly as White House Chief of Staff. Ayers tweeting he will leave the administration at the end of the year, but will work with the Make America Great Again team to advance the cause. This is Fox News.
Hop the day, Tritons. This is Tito Castro, proud alumnus of the University of Guam class of 2015 and president of the UOG Alumni Association. As a working Triton and first-generation college student, I know the value of a university education and call upon my fellow alumni, parents, and friends to make that education affordable and accessible to all during this year's G is for Giving campaign. To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to supportuog.org by December 31st or call 735-2957 for more information.
Viva UOG!
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it?
Can I get that red with AI?
Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
A pre-winter wonderland in the southeast. A storm pelting portions of the region with snow, sleet, and freezing rain. North Carolina bracing for the worst with more than a foot of snow in some areas.
Snow and ice can make the scene outside your window look like a holiday card. But don't be fooled. This storm is treacherous, especially if you try to drive in it.
Governor Roy Cooper. Taking the more scenic route just got more affordable. Gas prices dropping 22 cents in the last 3 weeks.
Gasoline prices have been following crude oil prices down. They always do long term and nearly always short term as well. It is ironic, but on the day of our retail survey finding these results, OPEC had its meeting and determined to cut production by 1.22 million barrels per day.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg saying the new national average is $2.51 for a gallon of regular. Astronauts on board the International Space Station received their holiday gifts a little early.
A SpaceX Dragon supply ship docked with the space station on Saturday, delivering the 6 astronauts an assortment of food, including smoked turkey, green bean casserole, candied yams, cranberry sauce, and fruitcake. There are also cookies and icing for decorating. It took 2 tries before the orbiting lab's robotic arm managed to grab the ship 3 days after launch from Cape Canaveral. The Dragon also delivered mice and worms for experiments and more than 5,000 pounds of equipment. 3 of the 6 crew returned home December 20th. Joe Chiro, Fox News.
A hat trick at the box office.
I love it here.
Who knew there's so many babies and cats in the world?
That is what the internet was made for!
Disney's Ralph Breaks the Internet is #1 for the 3rd weekend in a row, grossing an estimated $16.1 million. The Grinch finishing in 2nd place, followed by Creed 2. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Chili's 3 for Me menu just got bigger. We're giving you more choices for the same great price. For just $15, you can get a beverage, salad, and an entree. First, choose from a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Then enjoy a house salad and select your choice of a mouth-watering entree, like our half-rack ribs, Cajun chicken pasta, old-timer burger, personal chicken fajitas, or the flavorful margarita flatbread. So hurry in today and enjoy our Chili's 3 for Me menu for just $15. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
For more than 40 years, we've earned your trust, caring for our island's health, quality care and access to health solutions you deserve. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, peace of mind to coming for you. Take care, take care, take care.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Reverend Arthur Gibson of the Evangelical Christian Academy in Chalampago has a stake in the outcome of the federal lawsuit filed against the Chamorro Land Trust Commission. The Department of Justice filing that lawsuit against Gov Guam in September of last year, contending the Land Trust Act provides preferential housing benefits only to those it defines as native Chamorros, and therefore it discriminates on the basis of race and national origin. Gibson is African American who was married to a Chamorro woman, and they lived on a Land Trust lot. he built a house on the lot for his wife and stepchildren. But when his wife died, he was forced off the property by the Chamorro Land Trust Commission. Gibson said he appealed the decision and sought to have his name placed on the land trust lease, but his appeal was rejected because he did not have a birth certificate, saying that one of his parents was Chamorro. Gibson's case is referred to in the lawsuit filed by the Justice Department against GovGuam. The Guam Daily Post contacted Land Management Director Michael Borja, who oversees the CLTC, for comment. He declined because the case is the subject of legal action, he said. Gibson said he hopes, through the court action, that everyone on Guam will be given the same rights regardless of who their mother or father was. 21-year-old Jared John Santos is behind bars accused of shooting a man in Agate around midnight on Friday. Santos reportedly got into a verbal altercation with another man while they were fueling their cars at a gas station. Both vehicles left after the verbal altercation. As the victim's vehicle was driving down Route 2, the vehicle Santos was in came up alongside, and according to the magistrate's complaint, Santos, who was seated on the passenger side, pointed a silver handgun at the victim and shot him, resulting in a wound to the victim's stomach. The victim's condition not yet released. Santos was arrested and charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. More news after this.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing. How's your hearing?
Half a day. This is Maria Lamsit and Kayla Ramos, Vice President and Secretary of the Simon Sanchez High School Senior Class of 2019.
And we're inviting you to support our race to graduation in our annual Run with the Sharks 5K on December 22nd.
Join us at the Simon Sanchez campus for raffle prizes, shirts, and all-around Shark spirit. Go time is at 6 a.m.
Pre-registration is available at the main office and on race day. Call 489-8917 or 8172 for more information.
Thank you for all your support. From Simon Sanchez High School graduating class of 2019.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. A pedestrian died early yesterday morning after being struck by a vehicle that fled the scene. The latest death is the 23rd traffic-related fatality on Guam this year. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau reporting it happened sometime before 3:15 a.m. yesterday morning. Governor Carlos Camacho Road into Mooning. Officers from the Tumon Precinct Command responded to a call, found a lifeless man lying in the outer northbound lane near Tunwan Perez Street. Investigators determined that the vehicle that hit him fled the scene. They're now looking for that vehicle and the driver involved. Sergeant Tapau is asking anyone with information about this hit and run to contact Guam Police by calling the GPD dispatch line at 472-8911. Or you can also remain anonymous by calling the Guam Crime Stoppers hotline at 477-HELP. As expected, Tony Babauta has been named the Chief of Staff to the incoming administration of Governor-elect Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor-elect Josh Tenorio. Babauta played a key role in the Lou and Josh campaign. He's a former aide to outgoing Washington delegate Madeleine Bordallo and ran against her for the delegate seat in 2016 but lost. Babauta was a Department of Interior Assistant Secretary until his resignation in 2013 following an Inspector General report that concluded he had made inappropriate comments to some employees. However, Babauta points out that the report was referred to the Department of Justice, which found no reason to pursue the allegations, he said. The incoming administration also naming John Jr. Calvo, the District Chief of Staff for Delegate Bordallo, as the incoming governor's Deputy Chief of Staff, and Bertha Duenas has been named Chief Advisor for Fiscal Discipline. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
Oh, I looked at it a second ago. Still breezy outside. Partly cloudy with isolated showers are in today's forecast as well. Winds out east up to 25 miles an hour, decreasing tonight. Highs 88 degrees and overnight lows of about 77 degrees. There is sunset at 5:54. We'll watch the sunrise together in a semi-social kind of way tomorrow morning about 6:32. And to define what exactly semi-social is as opposed to unsocial, here's Mike Knight.
Yeah, it's different than antisocial.
Right.
I'm selectively social.
So
if I don't talk to you, then I didn't select you.
Yeah, it's just people we like. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There's the weather radar. I just called up the absolute latest fix on it, and it looks like it's fixing to rain down across the south and center of the island.
Yeah, and you got that exactly right. Looks like from about Santa Rita south, all in the highlands down south, they're getting some showers even as we speak. Looks like some moving over Rota, too, right now. If you're listening to us from Rota, you know, so many of them are. And yeah, just what we can expect today. And this is going to continue as we've got mid and upper level weather system that's moving on past us. And what's happening is when these showers, normally they kind of die out this time of day. But we've got a little bit of lift in the atmosphere, and then with the mid-levels kind of cold and the upper levels cold as well with these disturbances, it allows those clouds to lift higher than they normally would this time of day, which is why the showers are hanging in there. It's also why we might get some thunder this afternoon once the heat really kicks in and starts getting some good lift in the atmosphere. So if you hear some thunder this afternoon, don't be surprised. But no wide-scale anything happening, just typical stuff as we get this time of year. And looks like it'll stay that way for the next couple of days, then clear out nicely for the end of the week. Still watching 99C. It's an Invest system that the National Weather Service is starting to talk about just a little bit. Models are still kind of all over the place as to where it's going and how strong it will be, if indeed it even forms.
Is it on our map yet? It's out in the Central Pacific now, right?
You can't even see it. Yeah, you can't even see it on our satellite just yet. It's just on the other side of the date line. It'll be emerging into the Western Pacific here in the next 24 hours or so, and we'll see what happens. It's not uncommon for systems to form in December. As a matter of fact, a system can form any month of the year here in the West.
Yeah, well, I've got bad memories of a particular typhoon that struck in December of a year, and frankly, I'd like to get to January just as quick as we possibly can to avoid a repeat of that occurrence here. 8:15 in the morning, 888-8255. Just a program note, Blake Watson's on baby watch for the next couple of days, may or may not be with us, but a very close personal dear friend of ours, Renee, is going to be in, and I found out something about Renee, and that is she pays attention to football.
Nice.
And so I figured in Blake's absence, we would have pretty smart girl that knows a thing or two about football. Now, she claims it's just like her team that she's been paying attention to.
Yeah.
But she was doing a little bit of research last night, so she's going to be joining us and until it's not fun anymore.
I'm certain I'll walk away from the conversation feeling inferior.
8:15, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho, ho, ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Go to King's for breakfast. They've got that crazy breakfast menu going on. Ribeye and eggs, a tender grilled 14 ounces worth of choice ribeye cooked to your liking. Then they serve it, because it's breakfast, they said we better put some eggs in there. So they serve it with a couple of eggs any way you want and some hashed browns. Find that. It's breakfast time on the crazy breakfast menu at King's.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from King's Restaurants. Give a gift they are sure to love. Delicious food and friendly fun at King's. Get a coupon for a free single crate with every $20 gift card purchase. Extra holiday happiness from King's Restaurants. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam, Ruby Tuesday, and King's Restaurants. Receive special offers with every purchase for extra holiday happiness. See stores for details and have fun this season from all of us at the GFS Group.
Hey, what? Is it time for me to tell everybody about the other big sponsors, including Security Title? If you've got a complex real estate transaction in front of you, even if it's your first one, that can be very complex. I mean, just buying a house or selling a house can be rather tricky. Find these guys. They're great rangers for you at Security Title. Also brought to you by American WaterTech. Smarter water, better water. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. The guys over at American President Lines. They're shipping the future and Guam Regional Medical City. First choice for all of your open heart surgical needs.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
I know. I'm supposed to do this. Am I doing the C or the W? C. All right. C for Cold Stone, W for Wendy's. It works like that in our heads. Cold Stone Creamery makes the holidays sweeter with a new milk and cookies ice cream made with Chunky Chips Ahoy. You think about all of the different, you go down the cookie aisle over at the store and you think about all the different cookies that you can get, and don't you stop at the Chips Ahoy, and don't you just give the one with the extra chips that much more time? That's nice. They've got a dark chocolate peppermint ice cream too, made with premium Ghirardelli peppermint pieces, also available in the ice cream cake format. Cold Stone Creamery celebrating 30 years of the ultimate ice cream experience.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Don't bother me now. I got a pretty girl in the studio. You're gonna, what's the word? You're gonna harsh my buzz here. 888-8255 for later on. So we'll save that for later. But in the studio right now, I've got my friend Renee, and you know, I'm never clear on how to pronounce your last name.
Logie.
Logie. Okay, yes. Renee Logie. And if you've ever been, have experienced F&B on a massive scale, like, you know, the big charity balls that they've had over at PIC before, Renee's the face behind the magic that happens, and how you can feed about 1,000 people in the same 5 or 10 minutes.
Thank you.
How do you do that?
It's intense. It's organized chaos.
But I mean, there's the first time they said, "Okay, you're in charge of a big banquet." I mean, what did you have to know that led up to that, and did it freak you out at all?
You know, I just had a little bit of experience from the other side of it, being a client and booking events and banquets for a company that I worked for before. We did like a road show to promote a product that we had. So that's kind of my experience of going into banquets. And
so you had the expectation.
From the customer side.
Yeah.
So I kind of went in and just had to learn more of the F&B terminology, the way that they like to run their operations, stuff like that. And, you know, I had help. It was a big team over there.
Well, that's true. And some great players that were there in front of you as well. So you're doing about the same thing now over at Outrigger.
Yes. Well, similar. In food and beverage.
The lobby. How much time do you get to spend in the lobby over at Outrigger at all?
Oh, well, I walk back and forth a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I put in probably about 5 miles a day just walking back and forth between.
No, I was talking about happy hour. Because that is a favorite happy hour. Yes.
It's a good happy hour. We got entertainment. It's so busy every day there, but it's a great crowd.
And if there's nothing going on, you go to Deuce It.
No, you just go to lobby. You go to Bamboo Bar.
I'm just playing around. So it's now in between, you're also at Rim's doing some work, and she's all dressed in her workout gear right now.
Please.
Well, I just found out last night that Blake wasn't going to be here, so my plan B is something that we'd always threatened to do, was to get you into the studio and talk a little bit of football with us. So I thought, okay, well, let's try it out tomorrow morning. And it was originally going to be just on the phone, but what happened was she woke up late, got her run in, and figured, okay, I'll just finish up the run over at the radio station. So it's great to have you here, training for
the United Airlines Guam Marathon.
Are you doing the marathon?
I am.
Does that mean I'm doing the marathon too?
Sure.
Does that mean I have to start training?
Yeah, come on.
At some point, okay.
Already, today was only 6 miles, but last week was 10.
Was it?
So
I haven't. Thank God for 10Ks, because otherwise I'm not doing any long runs. Is that Eric on the phone? All right, we'll get Eric. I see you there. We're going to get to you in a couple of minutes. But I did want to spend some time talking with Renee about football. One of the things I found out about her just recently, and one of the reasons why she kind of digs her new job is she can pick her days off kind of at will. And so I said, what day is that going to be? She's like, Tuesday, so I can watch Monday Night Football and see what's happening. And sometimes her team is going to be playing. Yeah. So and that got into a conversation about smart, good-looking chicks that know about football. And you might be one of two or three that I know here on Guam.
I don't know that much about football. You're giving me too much credit.
Yeah, something like that. But how did you get into it?
It was just.
I mean, why do you pay attention at all?
Well, and the truth comes out. So I grew up in Buffalo, so therefore I'm a Bills fan. And basically, the 4 years in a row that they went to the Super Bowl, we had a big party.
Right?
Big Super Bowl party. And that was really when I first started to get into football. But also I was a cheerleader, so I
the Bills haven't been back to the dance, have they? Since those 4 years.
Back, yeah.
But there's every season is the renewed hope, right?
We've rotated through so many quarterbacks, and every time it's like, next year, this is our year.
See, I mean, just that. She rotated through so many quarterbacks, which is way above and beyond what I know or understand about football.
And as a funny tie-in today, now, and she's familiar probably with the debacle that happened. Of course, that wasn't their point of view, when Houston gave up a 35-3 lead at halftime, and Buffalo won that game and then went on to, I believe that was their second straight Super Bowl. And there was a man by the name of Frank Reich who took over for Jim Kelly that day because Kelly had been injured, and Reich came back as the backup quarterback and won the game. He currently coaches the Indianapolis Colts, and he turned around and beat us again today. So that's nice. Thanks for that, Frank.
Because he got a team too. Well, let's start with a little bit of the action that took place over the weekend. Were you paying any attention? It's time for Sports with Renee. Were you paying any attention to the football that took place like Friday? I mean, what was that guy that did that 99-yard touchdown?
It's Tennessee. I forget the last name right now, but Tennessee. Yeah, I pretty much.
Amazing. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And where I was,
Ramsey was his name.
Where I was, they were shooting, just replaying the video over and over and over again, because it wasn't just a straight run. I mean, the guy actually he had to stiff arm a couple of people, had to break away from a couple of tackles before he was able to get across the goal line. And so, in my mind, that might be the play of the entire season.
Yeah, and it went a long ways to the Titans beating the Jaguars. They handled them pretty nicely on Friday. 30-9 was the final score of that game. So.
Were there any games this weekend that you were watching in particular?
Nothing yet. I usually watch them today, so.
I'm sure you're not
right
happy
now.
about the Buffalo outcome.
I know. When I started my run, they were ahead by 3 points, and then Jets came back and won that one.
I can say this week proved that I know nothing about picking football games, because I got very few of them right, and the Bills is one of the ones I missed because I figured they would handle the Jets, but they did not.
Yeah.
Jets pull that one out 27-23. Cleveland gets past Carolina 26-20. Another one I picked wrong. Thank you very much. Green Bay over Atlanta 24-20. Another one that I did not pick correctly. This one I got right. Chiefs over the Ravens, but it was a lot closer than I thought. 27-24.
Wow.
I think the Chiefs would have handled them a little bit better.
That gets them in the playoff for sure.
Yeah, definitely gets them in there. Everybody's actually kind of happy about this because everybody hates the Patriots.
Yes.
And Miami beat them 34-33 today.
See now you
that's
know
that's what I was going to bring up. It's like, I'm so happy that the Dolphins beat the Patriots.
Good girl, good girl.
Let's see here. We got some ongoing games right now. No, it was another final. New Orleans beat Tampa Bay 28-14. That's no surprise. And the Giants really handled Washington 40-16. Again, Houston dropping one at home to the Colts 24-21. For me, I'm not that hurt. We just rolled off 9 straight wins. You want to get a gut check before you get to the playoffs when you're on a winning streak, and I think this was it for them. So it'll be nice for my team to be able to regroup a little bit as they head into what is assuredly a playoff berth, and maybe get a little deeper in the playoffs.
Which is the next round of questions for both of you here. How's the season look? I mean, can we start to see the end of it from where we are now?
Absolutely, yeah. This is week 13, so there are only 3 more games after this week, and the leaders are certainly taking their positions. Of course, you've got Kansas City, you've got New England, you've got the Texans, you've got the Los Angeles Chargers, who are actually doing pretty well. Let's see, who else in the AFC? I guess a couple of the teams in the Central have a chance of sneaking in the back door somehow, but it would probably only be Indianapolis at this point, and they have to win out to do so. In the NFC, the Rams, the cream of the crop, the New Orleans as well, really 2 tough teams. Myself, I think the NFC is going to win it all this year. One of the teams from the NFC, but that remains to be seen. And some other teams kind of middle of the pack NFC. NFC really I think the weaker conference right now, but they have the 2 stronger teams. So
Renee concur?
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
I'm just like checking the standings.
Oh,
yeah.
There are standings to look at.
Yeah.
Okay. See, now I wouldn't have known that kind of thing. So anybody want to make an early call on who's going to the Super Bowl?
Rams?
No, I couldn't. I mean, yeah, that's a good pick, though.
I would
Rams.
think Rams.
Yeah, I mean, Blake's been talking about Rams Chiefs, and I think that's pretty much even money right now. Could be New Orleans Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs hold the edge, really, in the AFC. I think they're the best team. But I hate them, but you can never count out Brady and Belichick.
And they like to really come back at the end, like
they
just
do.
when you think they're out. No.
Brad Hewitt writing this morning, Mahomes' no-look pass is the play of the year. The guy's a magician. What's he talking about?
I did not see the play, so I do not know. That happened while I was here at work, but Mahomes is quite a talent. It was kind of funny because a couple of years ago we had a chance to pick Mahomes or get Watson. We chose Watson. Mahomes went to Kansas City, and he's really paying off dividends for them. Really, really talented young man.
Chris Bacino says, yeah, go Rams. Jonathan Bullwinkle says, watch how the Dolphins beat the Patriots today. Do we concur on that one?
Yeah, I've heard there was some type of flea flicker or trick play or a lateral or something that led to that, which makes sense because the game ended, but it was a 1-point win by Miami, so something clearly happened there at the end of that game. I've got some other games in progress right now we want to talk about real fast. Chargers up on Cincinnati 14-6. That's in the second quarter. San Francisco shutting out the Broncos right now 13-0. That's also in the second quarter, almost halftime there. Getting close to the 2-minute warning as the Cowboys hold a slim 3-0 lead over Philadelphia. Oakland 10-7 over Pittsburgh right now. They're also about 5 minutes left in the first half. And Detroit leads Arizona 3-0, and they're just getting into the second quarter there. A couple of games, a late game today. The Rams at Chicago. Rams should win that one. And then tomorrow night, Monday Night Football. It'll be tomorrow morning for us. It'll be Seahawks hosting the Vikings, and I picked Seattle there just because.
All right, he's got Seattle. You also have Seattle.
I'll take Seattle.
Okay, then I'll take Seattle too. Then that's fine. Listen, I know that you've got work to do today at some point, so you're gonna have to go and do a real life job. So you can stay there all you want. I'm gonna leave the camera on you for a little bit and bring in a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours. Eric Tadenko is on the line. Good morning, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
I'm okay because I didn't have to bike 128 miles yesterday.
Well, it wasn't quite that long for the long course, but it was definitely challenging yesterday. It was really hot outside.
Well, it's that time of year, and a lot of people think it's a little bit cooler, but I think it's a little more dry atmospherically. So a lot of people don't generally hydrate as much as they should. We've seen that happen in a couple of races, in the foot races in the last couple of weeks, where one guy passed out and another guy had to be carried across the finish line. It's funny. It was almost amusing. Saturday morning, as a guy was just absolutely drained, and there were a couple of guys that went to go and help him, and he says, "Good, carry me across the finish line." He wanted to finish the race before he collapsed. So it's just that time of year, guys. Hydrate. Nutrition is very, very important, absolutely vital. But tell me about the race yesterday. I was looking in. I want to say I took a snap of from the screen because I wanted to make sure I had the name of the fella that came in first, the double banger, right? What's his name?
Well, he's a pro cyclist from the Philippines, and he's a three-time champion. He did a three-peat. His name is Mark John Galedo, and he just pretty much dominated the race. He's on another level from our cyclists here, and from everybody else that was visiting that did the long course. He pretty much set the record last year by finishing that 105 kilometers distance in just under 3 hours last year at 2:59, and this year his time was 2:54, so he smashed it by about 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, it was incredible, and he started his attack really early, according to the reports from some of the competitors. So the course started down in Agana next to the Guam Museum. It went up Route 4 all the way to Jordan, and that's where he attacked. As soon as
it was going up that hill.
Going up Pago Bay Hill, past those relatively new residential area, and then they didn't see him after they got to the Cross Island Road. He was pretty much gone.
That was the video that I saw. Somebody had him on Facebook going up the Cross Island Road, and it looked effortless.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was on the course last year when he won, and I was at that hill in the Lolo. That is, if you're coming around, you're just passing around. Now you're coming up towards the 76 in Malolo. That we call that, the cyclists call that 3-step. And he was in. If you've ridden a road bike, the of your chainring has two rings, a big ring for really smashing and pounding heavy gears, and then a smaller ring. And usually that's what cyclists use when they're climbing. This guy was in his big ring climbing that very hard hill. And it was just amazing. Yeah, it's wonderful to have somebody of that caliber here, because it shows the other cyclists here the kind of work that needs to be done in order to kind of achieve that kind of a result. And so,
well, congratulations, congratulations to him for sure. So that was the long course. Who was the guy that came in on for the males on the short course?
Well, he's a friend of yours. I'm sure you know Steve Camacho.
Yeah.
So he pretty much. I was teasing him. I was like, we don't want to see you in the short course next year.
You've graduated now to the long course, and they call it a short course, but it really is a long distance. So I mean, and there's there's just as many challenges there as there are on the long course. I mean, it's like the difference between a marathon and a full marathon. Just the half marathon, 13 miles is still an effort, right? You got to pay attention to the distance.
You still have some of the hills. You have that hill as soon as you make the right off of Route 4 in Telefofa to go up Cross Island Road. That hill, even if you're running it, is definitely challenging on your quads and your legs. Mm-hmm. So that hill they have to contend with, which the long course guys have to do that twice. And so definitely the hills off Cross Island Road, and you've done the Cross Island Road run, you experience it. So those guys have to do that. And then when you get to Route 1 and you're heading north back up to the finish line in Hagatna, if there's any wind, that's where you're going to face it. So you have to contend with headwinds sometimes over there. But yeah, we had a couple of runners that placed the top two in the short course, which is Steve Camacho, and then Ryan Matienzo was about 3 minutes behind him. So
yeah, I don't know if Ryan. I think Ryan's almost completely given himself over to cycling.
Yeah, it's easier on the body.
It's very rarely see him at the other races anymore. It's like just Derek and Ben Middlebrook anymore. Yeah. Hey, now for the ladies, what were the ladies? A long course winner for the ladies and a short course winner?
Well, okay, so for the short course winner was a lady named Joyce Kalma, and she was. I'm just looking at the results here. So she was 15th overall out of the 70 some racers for doing the short course, and so she was approximately 13 minutes behind Steve Camacho. Mm-hmm. So she took the short course, and then for the long course, it was Laura Nadeau, who is a phenomenal triathlete here. So she was in the main chase pack with the big guys from Guam, and in fact, Laura Nadeau finished fifth overall. Wow. So it was our three-time champ Galedo, and then there was Dana Ponick was second, Jake Chimoto was third, John Martin was fourth, and then Laura Nadeau in that group there. So yeah, she is fantastic. So she repeats as the female long course champion, and she earned it.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it. So results are available where?
Well, yeah, man, I just got the completed ones early this morning, so I'm going to upload it. It will be at either both the tourofguam.com website and the Guam Cycling Federation website. It'll be there, I would say, give it about another couple hours, and should be there, maybe about 10.
Gotcha. So, and as usual, I'll conclude the conversation with maybe next year for me.
Well, yeah, next year.
After you finish that marathon.
Yeah, after I finish the marathon, I'll start cycle training. Can I? But I need a really light bike and those shorts that make it so I don't get what do you call it? Saddle sores.
Those are available here in Guam.
I know they are. I apparently got the lightweight version of it because every time I ride, I still get saddle sores, and I don't even want to talk about it on the radio. Eric, congratulations to you guys and the crew that put everything together, and of course the winners.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's always fun talking with you. Always great to hear him as well with the Monster Squad over at Crust. 8:37 in the morning. I think that's all the time I've got. Kevin standing by and waiting. Renee, thanks so much for coming. If I really need you tomorrow, you think I might be able to snag you again on the phone or something like that? Because I don't know. Like I said, Blake's on baby watch. So, okay. So beat me.
Yeah, I'm not working in the morning, so.
Oh, right on.
Tomorrow's a rest day.
Okay, then you bring coffee. It's 8:37 in the morning. Headlines coming up next.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
In the morning. Wasn't that fun, huh? Always nice to have new people swinging by the radio station. Where to now? Headlines from the Guam Daily Post. His last look at headlines. Sorry to make you wait, Kev.
It's okay, Ray.
Okay, buddy. You're teasing me. You're totally teasing me. What's going on there? Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. 2 lawsuits have been filed against the U.S. Social Security Administration, challenging the U.S. government's policy of refusing to provide supplemental security income disability benefits to American citizens living on Guam. The lawsuits were filed on behalf of twin sisters Katrina Schaller of Barragata, Guam, and Leslie Schaller of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. The sisters are 48 years old. Each lives with myotonic dystrophy, a debilitating degenerative genetic disorder that severely inhibits muscle function. The SSI law limits benefits to American citizens who live in the United States, which is defined in the law as only being the 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the CNMI, but not Guam. Attorney Rodney Jacob of Calvo Fisher and Jacob filed the Guam lawsuit. He said the law is contrary to common sense, human decency, and sound public policy. Jacob argues that the SSI law violates the Constitution's guarantee of equal protection under the 5th and 14th Amendments. The lawsuit seeks a declaration from the court that the SSI law is discriminatory and asks for an injunction against the Social Security Administration ordering the agency to provide the same benefits to Guam residents that it provides to all other American citizens. A pedestrian died early yesterday morning after being struck by a vehicle that fled the scene. This latest death is the 23rd traffic-related fatality on Guam this year. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau reporting that it happened sometime before 3:15 a.m. on Governor Carlos Camacho Road into Mooning when officers from the Tumon Precinct Command responded to a call and found a lifeless man lying in the outer northbound lane near Tunua Perez Street. Investigators determined that the vehicle that hit him fled the scene. They're now looking for the vehicle and the driver involved. Sergeant Tapau is asking anyone with information about this hit and run to contact Guam Police by calling the GPD dispatch line at 472-8911, or you can remain anonymous by calling the Crime Stoppers hotline at 477-HELP. 6 recent promotions at the Guam Police Department are the subject of a new grievance filed with the Civil Service Commission. A group of officers contend they were passed over for promotions that were not properly announced and were made in violation of the government's merit system. The Guam Federation of Teachers represents the officers who filed the grievance. GFT says the Civil Service staff recommended the commission approve a post-audit investigation into those promotions. The officers assert that proper procedures were not followed, and they are requesting that the promotions be rescinded. In question are 5 police officers who were promoted police officer 2s and 1 officer who was promoted to police lieutenant. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I'll do that. 8:41. Thanks for the news. That's iConnect time. Call iConnect at 888-8888 or swing by the nearest iConnect location or find them on the World Wide Web at iConnectGuam.com and sign up for the Connect and Win contest. A fairly simple process. You sign up for a 12-month plan for the internet or mobile or push to talk, and you're instantly eligible. Now, it's going to happen fairly soon with the drawing. We do weekly drawings, but the grand prize drawing, you and a friend in Manila, accommodations at the Holiday Inn Express there. What a great way to start off the new year and this one, huh? A trip to Manila. 888-8888.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
There's been traffic on and off in some of the heavier spots up north, but it looks like everything is dissipated because it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning. Second string traffic should be fairly easy for everybody, depending on where you are. Right now, it looks like it is thickest up by the Chicken Joy intersection, northbound to the intersection of 1 and 3. Sorry, no, just from Santos Hill up to the Chicken Joy intersection. After that, frankly, it clears up rather nicely. Southbound traffic, no major problems at all. 8, 10, 16, a little bit tricky getting from Happy Mart, the post office towards Happy Mart. It's a little dyslexic on the eyes here. Huh. I'm seeing them going both directions. How crazy is that? And then the hill leading up to Sinahanya, you might have to wait behind a couple of cars through there. But they all seem to be moving. Nothing in front of Big Navy. Nothing in front of Navy Hospital. Enjoy the ride this morning with The Point.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Craft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K. Take it easy.
Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Buy one, get one free. Stop by Circle K today and satisfy your heart's desires. Available at all Circle K stores, excluding Barragata Airport and Campers locations. Applies only to the 3.38-ounce servings.
It's 8:44. This is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point, and a couple of things that I neglected with Renee in the studio and talking mostly about football. There was a big football game that we did not talk about. That was the Army-Navy game. Did you pay any attention to that? No, whatever. Lady D says, I was put off. Navy lost to the Army. Rico Blancaflor says, KC versus LAR. What's that? Who's LAR?
That'd be the Rams.
Okay. Oh, there. But I agree. Couldn't count out Belichick and Brady combo at New England. Dennis Bensour's on. Ken LG's checked in. Chris Biacchino, obviously. Brad and Jonathan Bullwinkle are there. Roland Torres, Sonny Cruz, Andy Henricks, Gary Schoenholz, and Gallo Perez and others are hanging out. Oh, Patrick Baum is online as well. Where are we? 8:45 in the morning, and I want all of you to come back this afternoon at 4 o'clock and log in and establish a quorum with Bob Klitsky and the Tall Tales program. Good morning. Former Senator Bob Klitsky, I appreciate you taking the time out to help me out with a couple of issues here today.
Anytime, Ray.
Well, it's just the clarity on the distinctions between the Castle Doctrine and another concept called Stand Your Ground. We've got a Castle Doctrine law here, and I know that Dennis Rodriguez and Joe S. San Augustin had introduced legislation last year to extend the Stand Your Ground justification. And for me and the other listeners, what are the distinctions between the two?
Well, let's start out with the doctrine of self-defense, okay, Ray?
Sure.
You know, if you ask a lawyer what time it is, he will describe the steps necessary to build a huge grandfather clock.
Yes.
Before he gets to the actual time of day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the doctrine of self-defense is the person is privileged to use deadly force in defense of himself or defense of others, but he has a duty to retreat if he can avoid the danger to himself by simply retreating. So if someone were about to attack me and I could run away from him, then I wouldn't be able to use self-defense against that person. The first exception to self-defense is someone trying to break into your house. You're in better condition to use self-defense there than you are if you, say, are at a convenience store, as an example. But our Castle Doctrine extends the privilege of self-defense beyond habitable property to, I'm looking at the statute right now,
my office, my car. Yeah, I believe that's the way the castle doctrine has been interpreted here on Guam and codified by the legislature and the governor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, just bear with me I should have looked this up here earlier when I heard you first talking.
No, that's all right. Castle, I'm looking at the section now that refers to it. I believe the person against whom the defensive force is used has the right to be in or is a lawful resident of the business, residence, or vehicle, such as an owner, lessee, or title holder, and there is not an injunction for protection from domestic violence or a written pretrial supervision order or a no contract against that person. So there's a little bit more work that goes into that interpretation. But, yeah, basically car, home, or workplace are places where the castle doctrine or the doctrine of self-defense would prevent me from being would immunize me, I suppose, from persecution, prosecution.
And it relieves you the duty to retreat.
And that's the critical part. It's the duty to retreat.
Yes. Now, as I understand stand your ground legislation, I haven't looked at the bill that was introduced. Stand your ground legislation would broaden the applicability of the non-necessity of retreating. So wherever you happen to be, if you had, a right to be where you were, and you were faced with someone who was about to do you harm, you could, quote, stand your ground and not have that duty to retreat.
I could draw a line in the sand. Now, there are some states, obviously, that have adopted this, and we've got legislation here. Unfortunately, it has never had a public hearing, so we don't know necessarily what the sentiment of the community might be to extend extending your castle basically to places where you would have a perfectly good right to be, at the beach, in a store, walking up and down Marine Corps Drive, or in your car in front of Guma Tranquilidad.
Right. And my suspicion is that there have been legislatures in the past that might have been favorable to a stand your ground law. This incoming crop, I suspect not, Ray. Looking at the people involved and the personalities, et cetera, I don't see a pro stand your ground sentiment in that group of people.
Well, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I think maybe the trick is just to get it onto a public hearing. I am worried, and have expressed so, that we are seeing a lot more of that kind of street crime. I don't know whether we're seeing a lot more because it's gone, viral videos and more news stories and more news coverage of it. But it just seems like Guam and being on the streets is getting a little bit more dangerous all the time, and so people will want to protect themselves, will want to draw a line in the sand, and I'm wondering if we might be able to get around to doing something like this. At least give it the start over at the legislature. Let's get a public hearing on this.
Well, if we did have such a law, question the results. Let's take the incident that made the press this morning.
Yeah.
With the video in the Daily News and on the front page of the Daily News, et cetera. If those people had been armed and we'd had a stand your ground law right now, would we have 3 or 4 dead people?
Probably.
And without making a personal judgment, would that be a good result?
No, I don't know that it would be a good result. But if in fact, if somebody's coming at me and they how do I describe it? The timeline looks like this. It looks like a case of road rage, 2 guys pissed off at each other, and then there was some violence that ensued at the Guma Tranquilidad site that spilled over into the gas station there, and there are many points at which either side could have stepped off the line. But they didn't, and it continued to escalate so much so that if I was the owner of the white car and these guys are coming after me with a slingshot at the speed that they were coming in, these people were there with deliberance, and if I had a pistol, I probably would have used it.
Yeah. Well, and that's my question. If
now, whether it's a good or bad outcome, I mean, I would leave that to the philosophers. But at least in that case, there would have been an end to the violence and probably an opportunity to have finally put a stop to it, so there wasn't any further escalation.
Well, I guess I would put my philosopher hat on for a moment.
Please.
Yeah. If that were the situation, how often do you think we would have such an incident that that we had reckless, perhaps wild people winding up being dead on the street?
We've already seen at least one case of it. Without getting too deep into the weeds here, we've got Sagdal, who was hit in the face with the rebar, and the court seemed to have lined up with the justification that he was temporarily insane and used deadly force.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the kind of question that we'd have to wrestle with. If you examine the philosophy of criminology, there should always be some sort of a deterrent value to criminal laws, and in a sense, a stand your ground law gives some of the power of law enforcement to private citizens.
There is the rub, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is the rub. Currently, the only people that can use deadly force outside a citizen in his home, in his car, at his work, are police officers.
Right. So I'm just exploring this. I have my own personal feelings, and and I guess when I'm finished saying what I'm going to say, you're going to say, "What do you got in your wallet?"
You got a little Viking in you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you come at me with a slingshot. Well, guess what? You brought a slingshot to a gunfight.
True enough.
And you've made a decision here, and now the outcome is going to be based on my aim and how many rounds I got. So that's there. I think in this day and age, with as many of these drug jugheads out there, and I think I'm going to use the term wildlings that have no respect for themselves, the community, other people's property. There might need to be a little bit of Wild West deterrent.
I see what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But going back again now, this stand your ground, and to a certain extent, the Castle Doctrine does give private citizens the ability, in a sense, to enforce the law and to inflict capital punishment under the right circumstances. So although we don't have capital punishment in our set of criminal laws, that approach, the stand your ground approach, in effect, puts capital punishment in the hands of a citizen.
I hear what you're saying, and it goes in both directions depending on who's got what weapons, right?
It does.
So that is it, and it will make a great community debate. As I said, there are some states that have extended stand your ground to their Castle Doctrine laws, and there are many that have had the debate and said, nope, not here. So which way are we gonna? Which way is the fish going to flop on that one?
Well, I've only just started to think about this, and I haven't had the benefit of running it through the Tall Tales think tank yet.
That's why I know it's going to be a good show today.
Yeah, well, after I run it through the Tall Tales think tank, I probably will be ready to rule, Ray.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things, if I ever did afternoon radio, that would be the best thing about it, is you've got all day to ruminate on all kinds of stories and editorials and take a look at all the different cards that are going to be out there today. And so I think it's going to be an interesting row to go when you turn on this radio station about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Absolutely. And the front page story about the Dinga, that's a really interesting story.
I saw that, and my first thought was what's his name? Neil, Weir?
Weir?
Yes, that one. I was thinking, I'm wondering if there's something can be done about the. I want to say that's known, though. I want to say that was one of those things that should have been on Madeline's to-do list over the last 16 years.
It is, to me, it's just a matter of statutory vigilance, and the NMI got it because they were able to negotiate with the feds when they cut the deal for the covenant. They're the only non-state that is entitled to the SSI. But the thing that, to me, that's so interesting is that you talk about ideal plaintiffs. You've got identical twins who are suffering disparate treatment from the same government.
Right. There's got to be some kind of statute in here that would back up the notion that that's just plain wrong. It's almost obscene.
Well, theoretically, the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution speaks to such things. On Tall Tales, I'll be talking about the actual application of the Equal Protection Clause in this particular instance. It'll be the kind of thing where you'll want to have your law and order notebook handy, but I think it's really interesting from where we are with our political status ruminations.
That's why it's always an education. In the first 40 minutes of the program, usually first half hour of the program, you will learn something that you didn't know yesterday, and that's a great thing about having Tall Tales on the radio. Bob, I'm going to let you run and let you get back to getting the Tall Tales think tank going.
Okay, thanks, Ray.
All right, bud. You have a fantastic afternoon. 4 o'clock, Tall Tales with former Senator Bob Klitsky here on the program. Minute or so in front of 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's still plenty more for us to go. Although I will say there is very good reason this morning, right now, to be concerned, and that is the Rules Committee of the 34th Guam Legislature is meeting at this time, and they're going to take a bunch of bills. Yeah, they're going to take a bunch of bills that have had their hearings, that have gone through the committee report process and figure out which one of them are going to make it to the legislative, the December session. And you might be thinking, well, when's the December session? The December session will be on at 10 o'clock this morning. That's when it's at 10 or 10:30 this morning. Rules from 8:30 to 9:30, and I want to say 10 o'clock this morning is when the legislature is going to be going into their December session. Find your wallet and protect it with your slingshot, if you will. It's 9 a.m. The radio station is KUSG. I got you. My name is Ray Gibson. On the way back with after Fox News Live with a whole other hour of very interesting, but interesting to me, otherwise I wouldn't talk about it, but interesting talk. Stay there.
Searching for a new frontrunner. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. Vice President Pence's chief of staff will not ascend to the role of President Trump's point man.
Yesterday, we had heard from a number of sources that Nick Ayers was the president's top choice to take the job as chief of staff and replace General Kelly once he exited at the end of the year. But our sources were telling us the problem was that President Trump wanted a chief of staff to commit to 2 years, serving as chief of staff for 2 years, and that Nick Ayers wasn't necessarily able to make that commitment. He had been planning to leave at the end of the year.
Fox's Ellison Barber at the White House, a person familiar with the president's thinking, telling AP that Office of Management and Budget Director Mick Mulvaney is under consideration for the chief of staff job. Top House Democrats raising the prospects of impeaching President Trump following the latest revelations from special counsel Robert Mueller.
On NBC's Meet the Press, independent Senator Angus King says there must be hard evidence to proceed. If not,
at least a third of the country would think it was just political revenge and a coup against the president.
On Fox's Sunday Morning Futures, Senator Lindsey Graham says confirming William Barr as Attorney General will be a key.
One of the first questions will be asked of him, will you support Mr. Mueller's ability to complete the probe, and I'm sure he'll say yes.
The president continues to insist there was no collusion with Russia.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Forget about going for a Sunday drive in North Carolina.
Don't put your life and the lives of first responders at risk by getting out on roads covered with snow and ice. Instead, stay put if you can. Wrap a few presents, decorate the tree, and watch some football.
Governor Roy Cooper, as a storm is expected to dump a foot of snow or more in some areas. More than 300,000 power outages reported in the region. This is Fox News.
Attention federal employees and annuitants. Open enrollment begins on November 12th through December 10th for federal employees' health insurance plans, with rates 19% lower than last year for Take Care's non-postal high option and access to PICA's Best Clinic FHP Health Center. Take Care's supplemental wellness package provides cash incentives and allows members access to 19 fitness partners, including the largest fully functioning fitness center in Hagåtña and Dededo. To learn more, call Take Care at 646-6956. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
Welcome to the annual holiday swap. Harold, you first.
Oh, it's a Subway card.
Wow.
Nice. Sharon?
I'm going to take the Subway card.
Oh, Harold, now you can choose a new gift.
I think I'll just take that Subway card right back.
Okay.
I don't think you can do that, Harold. Stuff it, Glenn. This is between me and Sharon.
A Subway card is the gotta-have-it gift. With cards from $5 up to any amount, you'll give a gift and get a gift, too. Get a free 40-ounce fountain drink with a $20 load, or get a free regular 6-inch sub with a $30 load on any Subway card. Subway, make it what you want at participating restaurants.
Former Vice President Joe Biden keeping plans for 2020 close to his vest. Biden at a book tour appearance in Vermont today saying he will stay engaged in politics but kept mum about running. Biden said last week he believes he's the most qualified person to be president. A great time to gas up. Gas prices plummeting 22 cents over the past 3 weeks. The national average now $2.51 for a gallon of regular.
The low in this panel of cities is Tulsa, 191 for regular grade, and the high is San Francisco, 358. In between, we have Houston at 207, Newark at 250, and Portland, Oregon at 313.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg tracks prices nationwide. This past week, Border Patrol agents expanded their readiness training as members of a Central American caravan waited on the Mexican side.
This past week, migrants continued to arrive in Tijuana, but at the same time, some were leaving. Some were deported for attempting to breach the U.S. border fencing. Others dispersed into Mexico. And still others moved to a new shelter location. Andy Carey with the U.S.-Mexico Border Philanthropy Partnership said some just got frustrated.
They have been met with significant resistance here in Tijuana. Their intent was to cross into the United States. The Trump administration has not allowed that to happen.
So he said this week some started traveling to other ports to the east. And the Border Patrol this past week did readiness drills and exercises at other ports, including Nogales, Arizona. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray apologizing for anti-gay tweets posted on his account several years ago when he was 14 and 15. The Oklahoma Sooners quarterback tweeting he used a poor choice of words and he did not intend to single out any individual or group. Murray won college football's top award last night, but he plans to play professional baseball, signing a contract with the Oakland A's. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
What is 9:05 and time to look again at the King's crazy holiday menu and pick out another favorite, a generous helping of shredded pork adobo mixed with King's famous, world famous, internationally renowned fried rice. Then they serve it with 2 eggs any way you want to. That sounds like a great way to do breakfast, right? They must be crazy. They are at King's.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
I think I just broke my Facebook trying to get Renee's picture up there. It's 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Portions of the program brought to you by just an incredible group of sponsors. I'm lucky to have them and thankful for Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgical needs. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. And, of course, the guys over at American President Lines where they're shipping the future.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
There's more? Which one is it? Oh, Wendy's. Oh, I love this sandwich. I haven't had one yet, but I love the idea of this sandwich. It's the bacon maple chicken sandwich. Now, what they do with it, they take a crispy home-style chicken fillet that you would eat all by itself, and you go, that was good. But in this case, it's Wendy's, so they pile extra on top of it. Swiss cheese, applewood smoked bacon, and then they drizzle it with a sweet and savory maple glaze. And you'd be happy with that. But they say, well, you know, it's the whole idea of buying a sandwich. You've got to be able to hold it with something. So they put all of that in a croissant, a nice croissant bun. A limited time sandwich brings back the flavors we crave for this wonderful time of year. Stop by, try one today at Wendy's. Quality is our recipe.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. Turn it up. Now tell a friend.
Ismail on Facebook Live this morning says, huge difference between self-defense and the right to use deadly force. You know what? What's the deal? I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Isn't that what they say about that kind of thing? And you never know. I mean, some people will say that you know, the guy came at me with a knife, so I used my gun and popped him. But there are an incredible number of stories. They're all true. That you know, where you've got somebody with a knife who can be just as deadly with somebody that's got a gun. Kenny, this morning, as soon as the wrist rocket comes out, my Mr. 9mm makes an appearance, and I don't think these comments are out of line, given what we're hearing, given what we are seeing, with some of the jugheads that are out there that are, you know, wildlings that from wherever. I don't want to cast any make any assumptions about where people are from and the way they've managed to take or not managed to take to the rules of civilized society, because we've got people from around here that haven't taken to the rules of civilized and polite society either. And act like idiots after they've had a beer or whatever it is that their poison is going to be, as opposed to really just finding a way to enjoy life in this beautiful little island that we call home, for the most part. It feels like it's getting more dangerous out there, and more people, rightly so, I think, are looking for opportunities to be able to prevent harm from coming to themselves. It's not even a question of protecting property. I don't care about that. But I don't know about you and your slingshots, and or you and your knives, or you and your. I used to watch Kung Fu when I was a kid, so register these as lethal weapons. Oh, you sit in a fight, I'll break your face. What's the line I've been telling people? Why do you carry a gun? I said, because I'm too old to get beaten up. I don't need that. But we get into the topic as usual in the 9 o'clock hour, just because it's sometimes the topics save themselves up that way. But the same way that I'm fond of referring to the Guam Police Department as really doing a good job of trying to find these guys and nail them and put them before a judge. Oftentimes because of a traffic stop. And there's a story about a guy that's, you know, was nabbed for stealing a backpack. And guess what? Did they find drugs on him? Yeah, of course they did. And so he's going to eventually go before a judge. And all too often we see these judges that will, I don't know, get a nod from somebody over at the Attorney General's office, or just decide that they're going to make a decision for the rest of the community and say, I'll let you go this time. You just try to be a good boy or girl, and we'll talk about your court date a little bit later on. And more of these people that have already been through the system 2 or 3 times realize that that is a real opportunity that's probably going to happen. And instead of, they do the opposite of sinning no more. But there's a couple of stories from Saturdays. A very good edition of the Saturday Daily Post. Woman in meth case ordered back to jail. Can I say, there's one for justice. There's one for the community. Pre-trial release revoked for man in drugs and ammunition case. Hey, there's another one. Let's hear it for justice. Well, it couldn't follow the simple rules of stop taking drugs and report to your parole officer. And he couldn't even do that. So the judge, rightly so, stick him back in the Hooskow. We'll talk about those in a little bit. 9:12 in the morning, and I very rarely get a chance to talk with her because she's so busy. She's got a lot going on. Benita Manglonia from the Guam Memorial Hospital. Good morning, Benny. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Ray. Haven't talked to you in ages.
I miss you.
Yeah, me too.
Just you know, here it is, the last days of the administration. What are you going to do after the inauguration?
Well, not too sure yet. My contract doesn't expire till February.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can stick around for a little bit. You know, it's I'll give you the Netflix. So you just sit there and watch Netflix.
Hey, no, I don't. I have so much. I have so many classes I need to take. No time for Netflix.
I got you. Well, I'm curious. You know, we're
continuing education. So.
We're all trying to figure out what the transition is going to be. I mean, they named our friend Tony Babauta as the chief of staff, and John Calvo Jr. is going to be the deputy, and a lady that I think is I put her together with you because I both think that you are just both attractive and brilliant women is Bertha Duenas.
Okay.
Yeah, you know Bert, right?
Yeah, I actually I took her role, for like 6 months.
That's right.
After she left the administration.
That's right.
Administration, and I took, was the director for BDMR, and actually at the same time handling DOA for like 6 months. So I was wearing 2 hats for 6 months.
A lot of people don't realize this, but folks like Benita have been around the block in the administration a couple of times, and yeah, so it's nice that you guys have run that parallel course. It'll be interesting to see what Bertha's going to be doing when she comes in, looking at the numbers on the administrative spend and where there might be opportunities to apply some fiscal discipline. And in your case, it's just a question of getting more money. So I read a story, and there was a rumor floating around in the social media over the weekend that somebody was holding up the delivery of the birth documents until the bills were paid at GMH. And you've now come out and said that's not true, right?
No, I mean, the process here is if a mother delivers, right, and, they come in to get their that unofficial birth certificate.
Yep.
So, we usually ask him to pay, the collection people, the cashier, they try to collect as much as they can, especially from those with no insurance and, the self-pay. And we also try to collect from people that have, long outstanding bills that have not been paid or have not been addressed. So I know that, it had presented a lot of challenges in the past. So there was a policy shift back in 2015 that, in order for us to get some of these mothers to get their kids added to their insurance or to the Medicaid MIP, then, we're going to charge $25 for that. So that, that will give them an incentive to come back, to submit the application, get the baby enrolled, and then we can reimburse that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for the hospital. And then when they've got all that paperwork, you give them the deposit back, and everybody's happy, right? You go buy formula.
Yeah, but it doesn't always work that way because, some don't even want to pay the $25, and some don't even, don't want to sign the promissory note. So it's like, okay, So how are we going to work?
Right, you've run up some charges here, and we got to start talking about how to get paid. I don't know that there's ever going to be an easy way to collect from some of these people that are just chronically indigent, but keep spitting out babies for whatever reason. But I was thinking maybe the solution might be at Guam Memorial Hospital, if you got the space somewhere, to get somebody that from actual Department of Public Health and Social Services in your building. So before you leave, go see that guy, Faison, Raymond, and sign up for the programs.
Ray, I've been working on that since 2015, and we finally got somebody here about 2 months ago.
About when?
About 2 months ago. We have an eligibility. They're called eligibility specialists.
Right.
So they assist in the application, and these people, the patient have to fill out the application because the eligibility specialist is not supposed to be the one to complete that.
Right.
So they this person assists them in getting the application completed, and then she takes that application and goes to public health a couple of days a week to process it.
Why cannot they process it there?
No, because the public health is the one that approves that. So
yeah, and so your eligibility specialist would be public health in the building. They would be like a satellite office.
It's our own employee. We worked this out with public health. We had several meetings on how we can make this happen so that we can streamline the process. Because what happens is, before we had the eligibility specialist, we submit to public health. It takes a couple of months for the approval. So now, we have this person here that's under GMH, paid by GMH, and then she goes to public health. We gave her like a laptop so that when she goes to public health, she can access the system there and submit the application and get it processed. So it's something that we knew was a problem, and that it took a while because there's a lot of administrative process that needs to happen before we were allowed to use that position.
Right. Oh, I'm sure. So because it's somebody from outside the Department of Public Health and Social Services that they're allowing inside the network to be able to manipulate data and documents. I can see where that would happen. But like I said, in my mind, it would be just easier if there was somebody, a public health desk at Guam Memorial Hospital. I guess this is the closest thing to it. But
yeah, and it's helping them because now they're not. Public health is now working on our applications, basically, doing the inputting because we already have somebody from GMH that's doing that.
Correct.
This is, we created this so that, it will serve our purpose and also serve public health and also help the patients that need that coverage because then they can go to the clinics or go get their medication, things like that.
No, I'm with you. Along the same lines of what I was thinking about, and that's just another version of it. And if that's the way that it worked out between public health and Guam Memorial Hospital, then at least you've got a beginning of the process with vital statistics. Number one, you've got the beginning of the process that could actually get some Medicaid and MIP money out from the accounts to Guam Memorial Hospital and help pay some of these bills.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, that was it. That was all I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to see if that was the story, and it sounds like it is exactly what is happening there. So good.
Yes.
So, do you have any news stories for me while I have you on the line? Because Kevin Kerrigan's listening all the time. He's going, okay, maybe there's something happening over at GMH today that will be a news story. So maybe I should ask.
You should ask. Well, we have the transition team coming over this afternoon, the finance transition.
Hey, stop by Infusion and get them some drinks and some cupcakes. It'll be nice.
Okay.
No, so what are some? I don't know. It's either going to feel like an oversight hearing, or hopefully a round table, depending on who's going to be there. Do you know exactly who is going to be coming in from the transition team? There was a list, right? They had a list of who the chairmen of the parties are.
Yeah, actually, the person that contacted me about having the finance transition meeting was Daphne Shimizu. So I know Daphne, so she just messaged me that, they're going to be coming in this afternoon. So, I'm expecting them this afternoon.
Okay, so they're going to be talking about the finances of GMH.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we stand ready to respond to whatever questions that they have, and we provided them with a laundry list of documents that they had requested.
So I have been approached a couple of times by members of the transition team for my thoughts because they think I know what I'm talking about. And so you've already got at least one vote going in for some serious information technology upgrades at Guam Memorial Hospital.
Hey, I've been advocating for that.
Well, I know, but see now they've reached out to an outsider. I'm not on the transition team. I'm not at GMH. I'm not in the government of Guam. But they reached out and asked me. I said, based on your conversations and your knowledge and your history with GMH as a topic, what are their priorities? I said most of the issues are already known: reimbursement rates, collections rates, all of those things we already know. It's the information technology. I mean, you should be able to, the second somebody pulls up their car at Guam Memorial Hospital, be able to keep a string on them so you know where they've been, who they've seen, what drugs they were given, what their insurance company is, and who their primary doctor is, all the way through to checkout. There should be an unbroken data chain on every customer you have, every patient you have at GMH.
Yeah, and of course, those kind of information to have it integrated costs money, right?
Well, you know what? If they didn't have a plan for money, then shouldn't have gotten voted into office, right?
So we've been requesting for capital improvement money for CIP, and unfortunately we didn't get that. We did get our operational subsidy, but because of the issue on our electrical panel, our leaking roof, we have reduced our operational budget so that we can at least address those issues that potentially can be, an immediate jeopardy citation by CMS.
Right. Hey, while I got you, last question, because I know how busy you are, and it's a question I asked Dr. Shea, is have you guys already seen an uptick in business now that GRMC is out of the baby business?
Yeah, I mean, we have the census has been going up.
The what has been going up?
The census overall.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're definitely seeing more, but they haven't dropped off any of the equipment, right? Because I thought they were supposed to be bringing by all of the garage sale of all of the baby gear that they didn't need anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm not aware if they have. I mean, I apologize if they've already dropped it off, and I'm not aware of it. But I don't think they've. I'd have to check people that are,
Check, intake.
Procurement people.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, it's always nice talking to you. I hope we get another chance to see each other before the end of the administration.
Okay, take care.
Okay, that's Benita Manglonia from Guam Memorial Hospital. Always nice to talk with her, and it's always I think she's more readily accepts talking to me than as opposed to folks over at the legislature.
Yeah, but she thinks she's cute because I called her and then she started speaking to me in Chamorro. And I'm like, what? I'm sorry, I thought I had the wrong number because I don't understand a word of Chamorro.
Oh, but
I know Umbi. I know that one.
Umbi.
I hear that one a lot.
But you've met her before, haven't you?
No.
Oh, she's a terrific lady, and tough as nails. She's tough as nails, but I don't think she's. How do I want to describe her toughness? Right? I don't think she lords it over people.
Yeah.
She's just she can be very direct, and if you're not used to that kind of directness, I think for some people it's kind of off-putting, but for me, I just kind of find it amusing. And we've had the opportunity to amuse each other over the years. 9:25 in the morning, 888-825-888-TALK. Send me Umbi on the WhatsApp. Umbi, 988-5874. See, now that the word's in your head, you're not going to be able to get rid of it. You're going to try to use it all the time. 988-5874 is the WhatsApp for the radio station. If you have cool memes, videos of one kind or another, then by all means send them over. But I will give you the caveat. Because there are people that watch out for this kind of thing. If you send me video or pictures of something, I will assume that you own the rights to that video or pictures, and you are clearing me to use them on Facebook Live, as well as as well as providing them to Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post so that they can use it in their social media and in their apps and things like that. So just keep that in mind. 988-5874 for those of you that are dying to know what that is. So what have I got? Who else playing with me on the Facebook Live? There's Rico talking about loving Mr. Bob's afternoon show. Kenny Williams, Daryl Taggarty. There it is. That's the operative phrase today. On guard, or it should be. Because all this talk about castle doctrine, stand your ground, draw a line in the sand, and say, you, druggy jughead, stop where you are. I will respond in kind, if not greater. Yes. Yes. Merry Christmas, jughead. And who gets to decide about the escalation of deadly force? I mean, yeah, so somebody comes out with a slingshot. What'd you call it, Ken? A wrist rocket? Somebody comes out with that. Are you then justified to pull out your 9?
And these aren't 9-year-old slingshots, man.
No, it didn't look like it.
These are actually hunting slingshots. You can use these to hunt rabbit, bird, things like that easily.
Yeah, and you know, break property and stuff like that. I don't know. There's somebody's going to get killed again. There's gonna be worse. These jugheads that are going out there are going to be up against the wrong guy. In fact, you take a look at if you watch the video, if you hear the video, you can hear the car definitely hitting something chunky, and it sounded like he had run into one of the guys that was providing some kind of chase. Yeah. It could have easily turned into a fatality then and there.
Yeah, I'm getting
with the vehicle.
I'm getting the feeling what happened there though is the guy bent down and kind of slapped his fender as he went past him. So he didn't actually hit him, but he hit his car as he went past him. Because if somebody had gotten hit, we would have heard about that.
The video that I have was shot by a bystander, and she used a curse word at that particular moment, so, which leads me to believe that maybe she saw something that the camera didn't see that looked like that. But I don't know. What do you think, Mayor? Commissioner Roy Gamboa, what do you think of these guys, these jugheads that are out there with their slingshots and they're acting like wildlings? Mike McCarthy's online. Lady D, who's tried to write this down a couple of times, and I keep missing it. I've had a gangster try to run me off the road with my kids in my 4x4 truck. Held up my index finger saying, hang on, and got in back of him and bumped him with my huge tires. And he hit his nitrous, and I never had a problem again. See? This little old lady in a 4x4. Shelley Gibson watching two things at once, this program and what happened over at the legislature. And her line here is, they done with Act 1 today at the legislature. And is it going to be a 3-act play? It will be. 9:28 in the morning. And so if they're done with the Committee on Rules, were you able to hear what they voted on, what they've decided to take into session? We don't have to wait too long. Now would be a good time. See if we can find Regine to give us an idea of what the measures were that are going to be discussed on the floor of the legislature and voted on, which will be Act 2. Act 2. And then Act 3, obviously, is what's going to be happening at the governor's, whether he's going to be signing off on some of these measures. What do we got? Denise replying to herself. He was constantly harassing the kids with knives and such, and they figured out an old lady, and they found out this old lady doesn't scare, and it's been peaceful ever since. Yeah, you kind of got to do that. You kind of got to do that anymore. I mentioned the story with Officer Paul Tapau a few days ago. As I was leaving the house to go out on my afternoon run, and right across the street from the house is a car parked, and there's these two people that are looking at my house. And I knew what I had on me, so I was more than comfortable going up to the car and saying, "Are you okay?" Non-threatening way, "Are you okay?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Then why are you looking at my house? What do you think you see here?" And without a word, they started the car and didn't bother looking back at me as they drove away. And I have not seen them since. I have not seen them since. You got to have a little bit of temerity these days. I think that's going to be required anymore. And sometimes it's easy to have a little bit more temerity when you know that you're backed up. 9:30 in the morning. Let's call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect, would you? And get into a conversation with them about getting to Manila. They've got this flyaway, this contest, Connect and Win. where you sign up for a 12-month plan for push-to-talk or mobile or internet. Got to buy the year plan, but once you do, you get the great service. You get a great instant right now, make you feel good goodie, and then there's weekly drawings, and then before the end of the year, they're going to do a drawing that could get you and a friend to Manila, which is a town in the Philippines that I've been to a couple of times, and I really enjoyed myself. I really, really enjoyed myself. There's so much to do, so many nice people to meet, and the food, wow. And the shopping, you know, well, I don't know. A lot of people, they say this, and I'm sure you've experienced it as well, where they say, oh, my God, your dollar goes so far in the Philippines. Okay, not so much in certain parts of Manila, where it goes as far there as it does in Tumon and Guam. Bottom of the hour, that's Sci Connect time.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on the Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Did I already tell you how much I love Christmas? Have I told you that? I was pondering a Christmas tree, and I don't have to ponder about that anymore because my big sister got me a little Christmas tree for the house, and it has light. It's got battery operated, so it has lights in it. But I found I was going through some stuff and found a tangle. It's the only way I can describe it, a tangle of Christmas lights. And I'm putting those things up. I might just hang it in tangle form outside.
There you go. Yeah.
You know?
This is my Christmas.
Yeah, because there's going to be people who say, can't you string it up in some kind of festive pattern across the house? And the answer is, yes, I can. But as
that's a choice, right?
As Ismail is trying to describe here, we're talking about deadly force. And he says, deadly force is authorized if the assailant meets capability, intent, and opportunity. You just can't shoot the guy because he's threatening you with a knife from across the street and you are in your car. He may have intent and capability, but no opportunity. So when it comes to, do I want to take my my Christmas tree lights and string them out in a festive pattern at my house? Yes, I do. Do I have capability? I do. Do I have opportunity? I do. Do I have intent? Not really. Yeah, not so much on the intent side. I kind of want to, but I just have to take it down again.
I have the most festive apartment in my ghetto.
And really?
I really
You're
do.
the only guy?
Because I have lights in each window out front,
right.
And then I leave my blinds down so at night they reflect off the blinds and they look real nice. And then I have my little tiny tree, which I got last year, actually. I got the tree at Kmart. It's about, I've got foot tall.
Meter, yeah.
And then I bought one string of LED lights.
Oh, yeah,
These
yeah.
will actually flash.
Yeah.
And then I strung it all the way around, and the cat hasn't torn it up yet. I'm very happy.
Perfect. That's nice. All right, now it's not Charlie. We're not talking about Charlie Brown trees. We're just talking about, they're smaller than the 8, 11 foot trees that some people have running around here. Ismail with bah humbug. No, it's true. You gotta find the festive part of the season. How has the shopping been? I'm curious about that. How has the shopping been? The reason I ask is because I keep thinking I need to stop by a store and buy stuff and buy something. Yeah. But every time I think now's a good time to go stop by the store, I'll pull into where there's a store or a Home Depot, or even Benson's, right? And the parking lot is full.
Yeah, see.
I don't need that.
No. If you're going to Kmart, go early in the morning. Go before your run in the morning. Best time. It's empty.
Yeah, people keep telling me maybe do that now.
Yeah.
this time of day.
Yeah, this Christmas season shopping will go without me.
Oh, this night, my buddy. Oh, with the gun, with your own gun, which I wanted one of these. I think I want to get one for everyday carry as well. And it's a picture. Let me just. I got to forward this, and I'll stick it on that. I know. Yeah, you figure. How do you get to be so old without not being able to do two things at the same time, Gibson? What's wrong with you? All right, so my buddy Roy sent me a picture of what he made for his castles, as it were. And there you ought to get one of like this for you too. Everybody should have something like this picture here, where it's a castle law and a picture of a pistola. And the Guam Code Annotated, the actual section of Public Law 32-111, and then the inside, the caption that reads, "Nothing inside is worth dying for." Castle law, nothing inside is worth dying for. Of course, you got to be careful with that talk. You know, I've had the conversation with a bunch of people, you know, gun guys. And, you know, I go, well, do you have stickers outside your house that say, you know, Glock inside, you know, or the dog can make it to the fence in 12 seconds, but my, you know, 45 will be there. And yeah, just like, you know, those kinds of signs.
That kind of goes against the whole concealment thing.
Yeah, right? and there are guys, maybe you don't want to do that, because if you ever do shoot somebody, people are going to say, well, what did we expect? He telegraphed it. He's been itching to shoot somebody.
Just get the sign that says, "Never mind the dog, beware of owner."
Right.
You got it covered.
Well, my sign actually says "Neighbor's dog doesn't bite," so that's the deterrent away from my house. 9:37 in the morning. So let me go back to a couple of stories that I was looking at earlier that gave me hope. It gave me hope in the criminal justice system here on Guam, that there might be a couple of judges that are okay, that have backbone and will stand up to some of these drug jugheads that are out there, that will make all of the rest of the judges go all soft inside. Oh, you got a little baby there. Somebody got to buy the formula for the baby. And if I put this guy in the jail, there's nobody going to buy the formula and the Pampers. And they're going to buy the cheap ones. Huh? And from those little mom and pop stores, you're going to buy the cheap ones. And they're going to be poop leaking out of these cheap diapers that they're buying for these kids. We just can't have that.
If I'm in jail, how am I going to trade my SNAP benefits for drugs?
Exactly. Sylvia Mashburn Duenas appeared Friday before Judge Ken Manabusan of the District Court of Guam in an initial appearance for revocation of supervised release. According to court documents, Duenas had failed to report to drug testing and to probation. It's not hard. It's not hard. You're in trouble with the law. And all you have to do is call in every once, take a test and pee clean. Or just, it's time to talk to the probation officer. Make sure you show up for the appointment. Wear nice clothes. Brush your teeth.
And if you can't show up, you can just call them and say, "Hey, man, my ride's broke. Can I reset the appointment?" As long as you let them know.
Assistant Attorney, U.S. Attorney Belinda Alcantara said in court that while she understands the defendant is trying to make a positive change, allowing Duenas to remain on supervised release would present a danger to the community. It's nice that you're trying to change your life. It's nice that you're trying to do good things. But we gave you an opportunity and you failed, and the doors to the jail are over there. So there's one case there. Second story, same newspaper, same day. Pre-trial release revoked for man in drugs ammunition case. A man facing federal charges of being a drug user in possession of ammunition has been sent to jail after Judge Ken Manabusan, busy guy, of the District Court of Guam revoked his pretrial release Friday. Jaron Cunanan was charged October 17th after allegedly being found in possession of 17 rounds of assorted 9mm ammo, 4 rounds of ammo with various calibers. Judge Manabusan said in court that Cunanan had failed to check in with probation as required and failed multiple drug tests, testing positive for methamphetamines, amphetamines, and ecstasy. He's admitting to using controlled substances. Attorney John Gorman argued for the continued release of his client because he's a defense guy. That's what he gets paid to do. He told the judge that Cunanan had been, quote, taking steps to get treatment for his problems. Well, that's the problem. He should have been taking steps to the Proby guy. And on the way, resisting the temptation, the urges to take your methamphetamines and your amphetamines and your ecstasy. And the judge said, I'm not so sure that's genuine of a means not to be retained. His initial appearance in district court was Halloween. According to the court, he tested positive for meth 4 days later. What? November 4th failed 2 more drug tests later in the month. Based on the 3 positive tests, the court finds the defendant should be retained at this point, Judge Menabusan said.
But see, that's federal. See, and they handle them a little differently on that federal thing than we do on our local stuff.
I know, but I just, I've got to look. I've got to look for these bright spots where I find them, whether they're in federal court or whether the rare occasion that somebody over at our courts is showing some kind of backbone. I'm all about fair treatment of people. I'm all about giving them opportunities and a second chance. I mean, there's some of the best people I've known in my life that I know have screwed up somewhere in their life, did their time, learned a thing or two behind bars, and became, if not productive members of the community, and at least they weren't a burden on the community anymore. And I truly love being around many of these guys. So I'm all about that. It's easy for me. But you get these jugheads and they scoff at the law. They learned how to scoff at the local laws, and now they're trying to scoff at the federal judge. No, I don't think that's going to happen here. 942. Play around with that and have the have that play around in your head. What are we writing here on the Facebook Live? Roy writes. I'm sorry. I'm all distracted by Shelley saying her and Mana had a good time at Ross. It's impossible for men to have a good time at Ross, and just want to point that out. Ismael, shopping has been great. Just text my wife, and it magically gets done. Hey, Chris Watson's online. That's nice. Meets Maniori. I want one. Are we talking about the guns or the signs? Ismael says, warning, crazy Iraq War veteran inside. Maybe that's all you need to hang outside the front door of the house. Roy Gamboa says, next sign says, I don't call 911. Yeah, Rico with a note here. The 380 version of that Smith & Wesson is a great concealed carry, too. Who else is right? I swear this group gets more fun as the days pass by. I just have a private property trespassers beware sign from Home Depot, and the gangster at the corner put the word out on me. Crazy old white lady living down the street. That's just sweet stuff. All right, 9:43. You guys play around with the topic all you want to on the Facebook Live. There might be a few other things that I wanted to touch on here this morning. In Paris, I don't know, and we talked a little bit about this earlier. There are just some crazy things going on in Paris. I've seen some just incredible video. The one I saw, and I believe it's Paris. I have no reason to believe the guy that sent it to me, was incorrect when he posted it. Sent it to me on the WhatsApp. I can't play it for you on Facebook Live because it is kind of graphic. Where it's these 2 guys getting out of an SUV. And going around a corner, and same footage about 5 seconds later is these same 2 guys coming back from the corner being followed by another guy who takes 2 rounds, who pops him with 2 rounds apiece. And walks up. You don't see it, but I think he does the coup de grace on one of the guys. And I'm going, wow, this is just some crazy stuff that's going on there. There are guys that were trapped between their destination. There were protesters there, and literally doing what I would do. I think if I was in a situation like that, and there were protesters that were banging trash cans and trying to get into the car that I'm at, and this driver just ran him over.
Oh, yeah. No,
I'm sorry. You're standing in front of me and you're threatening me. I've got no other means to defend myself except press the gas really hard. Yep. And that's what he did. I can't imagine the sickening, visceral thump that you feel when, that you get from the car, that kind of biofeedback you get from the car, either by something hitting it or that kind of thump that when you roll over it. Can't imagine how that felt.
It's kind of like hitting a turtle.
Yeah, but I think in that kind of situation, maybe, you just kind of feel good. As we say in some more, but that's what you get. In Paris, tourist destinations closed over the weekend. 89,000 police officers took to the streets in anticipation of more anti-government protests. And again, it's anti-government protests in France, where the history has been marked by anti-government protests where they go in, and then pretty soon people don't have heads anymore. The original mob rule, as it were, in the Parisian revolutions. And we're talking about castle doctrine and home invasions and things like that. In California, guy broke into a home and was prowling around when the homeowner returned. After taking a quick look around, the homeowner could see that the house had been ransacked, but the prowler was nowhere to be found. Police were called, and they were taking a look around when an officer noticed a large Rubbermaid storage container and the lid slightly ajar. Inside, the prowler.
The dude.
Must have been a small dude. I don't know if I could. I don't know that I could fit into one of those things.
No,
no way.
It's a really big one.
It's a tiny, tiny prowler but can you imagine if something like that? It's just target practice. I think I'm going to drag this out for target practice today. 9:46 in the morning. 888-825-888-TALK, and then just from the world of pure small talk. And I meant to talk about this last week. Your coworkers are looking in your wastebasket. Nearly 3 in 10 workers that responded to this survey said they've checked wastebaskets and recycling bins to see what their coworkers are tossing. I don't know that I've done that.
No, I
don't know that I've done that here. I do it everywhere else. I mean, I'm not digging through the trash can. I'm not digging through the trash can. But my mom always believed that I'd never be poor because I always look at the ground. Yeah. And you know, you'd be surprised some of the things that people dropped. I looked at the ground. Where was I? Saturday, after getting my grill marks, I looked on the ground, and there was a little wallet, very pretty little wallet, and inside was $5. There
you go.
So it's mine.
I've actually found cash lying on the ground.
Yeah.
Just there.
So that's the way it is. But every once in a while, I'll look inside of a trash can just to see what was thrown out. And at the house, looking at the trash can to see what of my stuff was getting tossed out. 9:48 in the morning, 888-8255. And another story that I want to know a little bit more about. And this one came in over the weekend from the e-update of the Guam Federation of Teachers Local 1581, for which I am not a member, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But they got my email from somewhere. I don't know. But I've been on it I've been receiving this since Matt Rector was with the Guam Federation of Teachers. That's an old name that you might not remember, but he used to be the boss of the Federation of Teachers, and he'd get his hands on email accounts that I don't know where he'd forge them from, but he'd get email accounts and just add people, you know, all over the place, and then ran for office. And so, as you might imagine, the GFT e-updates at the time were very pro Matt Rector. Imagine how that worked. Anyway, so the front page of this one here says CSE post-audit investigation on GPD promotions. You might have heard Kevin talking about this earlier, but it looks like it has happened again. The Civil Service Commission staff report recommends to proceed with a post-audit instigation or investigation of the promotion of 6 officers of the Guam Police Department in response to a request from GPD officers represented by GFT. The officers assert that proper procedures for the promotions were not followed under the DOA personnel rules and regulations, and request that the promotions be rescinded and open for competition in accordance with Guam law, personnel rules and regulations, and the merit systems. The 6th promotion include 5 PO2s and 1 police lieutenant. And this is the first I am hearing about it, but it's not the first time that something like this has happened. There was another round of promotions that were given to another 6 officers that went south in the eyes of some of their peers. And somebody had to start talking about all of that. And didn't this just happen recently with the fire department? Why do I want to say that this is ringing familiar with the fire department? There was a bunch of guys that were passed up for a couple of promotions. And had a lot of questions about that, and I think they were talking about going to the Civil Service Commission to see if they could get some kind of relief. But that will be an interesting case to watch over at the police department, because my guess is these guys are probably not going to be letting all of that stuff go. Looking over the table of contents and stuff that I was just not able to get into this morning, although I've got a few minutes left before the top of the hour. I say that, and then Mike sends me into the break. Just wait now. You could have made me break any time before, but you didn't, so you have to wait for me. There's the picture. There is the picture. I don't know if you've seen this. It's Saturday's newspaper. Back of Saturday's Pacific Daily News, fisherman lands big tuna. It's the story about a guy, Raf Vargas. I'll bet you know him. And he caught himself a 170-pound tuna. That would have been a great story no matter what. It would have been just a terrific story no matter what. Catching a 170-pound tuna, right? My brother and I went out. We caught 100 pounds of wahoo. That's like a dozen, right?
Right. Yeah. This is just
one catch. Yeah, right. The guy puts the jig in the water, and all of a sudden he's landed 170 pounds worth of dog-tooth tuna. I love this story. But what makes it that much more interesting is he did it on a kayak.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's different now, right? This guy wasn't on a 25-foot bayliner. This guy was on a kayak. And they tell me that this kind of thing happens all the time. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of kayakers out there that are going out and tooling around in the ocean and catching big fish. And I'm going, this is great. And I said, I want a kayak. When I was getting my grill marks the other day, there were a couple of very white guys that went out on kayaks, came back red as hell. I mean, just like this thing red. But they'd gone out and on these kayaks, these tourist kayaks. Oh, wow, that's all right. But apparently the kayak that this guy Raf is on, according to my brother and his friend Hugh, it's not one of these little plastic kayaks.
Right.
It may be in the tens of thousands of dollars worth of.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, wow. I hadn't even heard of that.
Neither did I until I heard about it last week, and then I saw this thing on the newspaper from Saturday. So I'm interested, like Facebook interested, okay? I'd like to learn a little bit more about this kind of thing. Now, I know better than to ask you. I know better than to ask some of you people here in the Facebook Live, because I'm going to express my interest in these very high-tech and high-priced kayaks so that maybe I can go out and catch myself 170 pounds of tuna. But this is the same crowd that I asked last week about eating, the cattle. Mm-hmm. Which I had to bring up twice to get to the end on, because I brought it up for the sole purpose of creating some kind of interaction with the listeners, and they're like, "Oh, cattle! He's talking about cattle." Next, cattle and kayaks. That's all I want to know about. Where does one start looking for this on the web? Is anybody feeling guilty about this? Do I get any guilty points here on Facebook Live? Nothing. I see how you are. It's the holidays and everything. I'd share the tuna with you. Currently 9:53. Now I'll take the break.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
No one ever plans to be sick, especially when you're young. But sometimes things happen, and there you are with huge out-of-pocket expenses. And if your care requires you to go off-island because your insurance doesn't include GRMC, you have hotel, food, and transportation costs on top of your medical copay. If you're a federal employee or retiree, choose Calvo Select Care. It includes GRMC. And should an emergency arise, we're right here. GRMC, where patients are partners.
Like a medley. It sounds like 3 or 4 different songs in here. But we wish you a Merry Christmas as well. Earlier in the program, my classmate, Frank Bloss Jr. in the studio talking about the Adzuta Foundation and their drive for toys to send to the CNMI. That's a nice thing. That's a nice touch. It is that time of the year. And as you've heard me express a certain anxiety that I've got on behalf of the kids in the CNMI. devastating typhoon, obviously, that they had up there. And so as a result, as a result, it will be a different Christmas that they're going to have. My guess is that their moms and dads are just like our moms and dads. And no matter how tough things were, I don't ever remember it being tough on us financially. But, you know, we'd go through a Christmas. And one in particular, I recall when my grandfather died. That was in October, and we had a Christmas right after that. But everybody, Grandma, Uncle Jim, Mom, everybody made sure that the kids still had a great Christmas. So I'm sure there's plenty of that going on up in the North Islands, where parents are trying to figure out, hey, despite it all, no roof over our head, and have to replace all kinds of stuff. But we'll find a way to make sure that the kids have a good Christmas. And you can help. So get a hold of Frank, the Azuda Foundation, which is 473-3003, 473-3003. Or you can call Frank at the office, Frank Bloss Associates, or 687-1483. He's very freewheeling about giving that number out, 687-1483. And that's just one of the drives that are going on. I put special emphasis on one of them because this is the one that it looks like I'm probably going to have the most fun at. And it is going to be the John Dank Show and Budweiser at Mosa's for a gig called Tunes for Toys. Friday, December the 21st from 5 until 10. It'll feature incredible music. They're going to have MJT, Too Easy, Oca's Point, Evergreen, The Blues Syndicate, Bigga and Betta, and the John Dank Show, and Imani, Big Ben, and Vince are going to be performing there. And I'd walk across the street to go and watch all of these performers, especially Imani, who I think is a great talent. And I want to say that it was I'm so happy I discovered her. But as it turns out, there were about a dozen other people, a dozen other 1,000 people that discovered her before I did, but just a great talent and a nice place to do it. So it's going to be, again, Friday, December 21st at Mosa's. It's a Friday night, and I don't know if you need to bring anything. The flyer that I have doesn't say anything about it, but you might want to check currentguam.com, and there might be some details, or just swing by Mosa's. Why don't you? Neve is going to be back before too much longer, so swing by and come in and say hello and talk to Mo about the big party that they're going to be having. So that's among the things that are on my table of contents and on my calendar here in the next couple of days. I intend to spend a little bit of time finishing a story that I started reading about today, and maybe you've seen it online. 7-year-old makes $22 million a year on YouTube. Millions of followers, thousands and thousands of followers, is 7 years old, and basically he plays with toys. What every 7-year-old does, but they film it, and he talks about the experience, and now got sponsors, and he's a spokesperson for a variety of these toy lines and all of that stuff. What? $22 million a year. 7 years old. I have got to come up with a scam like that. I'll think about it. In fact, maybe that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I'm going to figure out how I can put together exactly that kind of scam.
You're only 49 years late, bro.
You know what? Thanks for the head start. That's all I'm going to say. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and the legislature will be in session in just a few minutes, what we will refer to as Act 2. So when you're done with this, check them out and see what kind of damage they cause the taxpayers here as their silent goodbye of the 34th Guam Legislature. We're KUSG again. You love, you mean it. Bye.
A top Democrat hints at impeachment for President Trump. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. The incoming House Judiciary Committee chairman says if President Trump directed illegal hush money payments to women, as alleged by special counsel Robert Mueller,
certainly they'd be impeachable offenses, because even though they were committed before the president became president, they were committed in the service of fraudulent